Are you live already?
Yeah, I'm live right now. I don't know if you can hear me yelling.
Yeah, a little bit. All right.
Cool. How you guys doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. I just woke up.
Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. I haven't streamed in a couple days. You ever get like that? Where you haven't streamed in a couple days and you forget what it's like?
I do. Yeah. I haven't streamed since Thursday.
What's up? We got Keith and Nick Fuentes in here. How you guys doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Yeah, we played some soccer yesterday. We got still. What have you guys been up to today?
Not much. Went to Miami Beach and we got some tacos. So pretty low key day. What are you up to?
Tacos.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't have expected that.
What? I'm Mexican.
Nick was showing me
so-
Mexican culture.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
you
yeah.
like it?
That was pretty good. Yeah. I enjoyed the football yesterday, I must say.
We could play again today. They rented out a pitch. You guys want some water or something?
I'm good.
You good?
I'm good.
You guys are dressed professionally in here. I should put on some pants or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, good to see you guys. And yeah, there's quite a bit of things that we could talk about, of course.
Yes.
But,
You got Loomer's tweet up. You got beef with her, huh?
yeah, I mean, I don't really have beef with her. It's just she's trying to get me in trouble. What do you think about this? Maybe we could read this.
Okay.
Laura Loomer says, the reason why so many red pill men like me and want to be friends with me and follow me at SNEAKO, as you point out, because I'm a loyal woman. I don't ask them for anything, don't seek their attention or admiration. I don't clout chase and I work hard. I don't need to throw myself at men to get men to pay attention to me and follow me. I can do with my brain because I honestly don't want anything. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. I think you need to ditch the Sharia LARPing and be more loyal to your friends. I think you need to grow up. I have a large platform and should use it for some good instead of spreading Sharia.
Wow.
Anything I will ever say about you, I will say to your face and online and tag you. I want everyone to know how I feel about them and blah, 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 blah. But
Wow. I love Loomer. You know that.
what do you...
Loyal Loomer, that's what they call her. She's loyal to me. So I like her.
Don't you have like so many disagreements with her?
I do, yeah. We disagree strongly about Israel, but the one thing I'll say about her is she was one of the first ones to speak out for white people and white genocide years ago when it wasn't popular after Charlottesville. I did a show with her in like June 2018, and she went in and talked about how there's like a white genocide agenda. So I give her a lot of credit for that. Obviously, totally disagree with her on Israel-Palestine. You know, she'll say, I saw her the other day, and she's like, Nick, these guys, they support Hezbollah. I'm like, yeah, imagine that. Like, supporting Hezbollah. Wow, things are really crazy. But, no, but I love her. I think she's great.
Yeah, I don't have beef with anyone. It's pretty one-sided, you know, I'm just...
That was kind of a significant day for that, though. The anti-white thing. Did you see what Trump said?
Yeah, did you see that on time?
Yeah.
What did Trump say?
Trump said that basically there's an anti-white agenda that needs to be stopped when he's talking about other forms of racism. I think it's the first time he ever said the term anti-white.
Yeah.
What year was that?
This was today.
He said that today?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's bring that up. I didn't. But he tweeted, or he truthed yesterday saying, "Stop the protests."
Yeah, that was cringe. They're all going out against the protest now. Have you seen that? Everybody.
Yeah, there's got
All
to
the
be something
conservatives?
coordinated there. 'Cause it's like the last day, 2 days, they've been hitting that really hard.
Yeah.
Okay, Trump says that there's an
There you go.
anti-white feeling is a problem in the U.S. Okay. If you look at the Biden administration, there's sort of a, what's the quote exactly?
There it is, right
Right
there.
there.
If you look at the Biden administration, they're sort of against anybody depending on certain views. Trump tells Time in an interview when asked about his supporters who believe anti-white racism now represents a greater problem than anti-black racism. They're against Catholics. They're against a lot of different people. I think there is a definite anti-white feeling in this country that can't be allowed either. But who is he saying that it comes from?
The left.
Mm-hmm.
The left in general. So do you think that he associates that with the Palestine protests?
No, I think he's just talking generally about anti-white sentiment on the left. You know, I mean, Tucker and Trump are calling that out more and more lately. I remember like back in 16 and 20, you remember the 5%ers?
Oh, yeah.
I really shouldn't shout them out, but because they're like
the biggest platform they've ever mentioned.
yeah, no joke. There was like this group they used to say, you know, the alt-right represents 5% of Trump's base, and we will not vote for him if he doesn't talk about white people. Because they'll talk about black voters, Hispanic
Uh-huh.
unemployment, whatever. And so they were like conscientious objectors. They wouldn't support Trump. And, well, suffice to say, he would never address white people. That was like the meme in 2020. He'd say, you know, it's the lowest black unemployment, lowest Asian unemployment, lowest Hispanic unemployment. Nothing
Well,
about white people.
that was based on the 2020 election, though, because his vote went up with minorities, but he lost 5% of white men,
Oh, is that what it
which was kind of crucial for some of the swing states.
Right.
Why do you think he's bringing it up now? Like, how much do you think of it is politics, and how much does he actually care?
I think it's politics.
Okay. Do you think everything he's saying is completely political, like him meeting with Ron DeSantis, and is it all just trying to? I mean, at this point, it's probably so important that they have to, they have to win the election by any means. But why speak up about white people right now?
The anti-white thing is just kind of normalized now. Like, Tucker had a guy on a couple of weeks ago. I think he's called Jeremy Carroll. He's from the Claremont Institute. And he has a book on, like, America's Last Taboo type thing, saying that anti-white racism is this big problem, can't be discussed. But all the Matt Walsh, Charlie Kirk, that's just a normal talking point now. You couldn't mention that like 7-8 years ago. So I don't know how much Trump has his finger on the pulse of like what's happening in broader conservative movement, but that has kind of penetrated the mainstream at this point.
Yeah.
How much credit do you think you deserve for that?
I think, well, me,
Quite a bit, right? I mean, let's be
think
honest.
so, yeah. Because I was one of the only ones talking about it. I remember, Matt Walsh at Daily Wire, he talks about that a lot now. So does Charlie Kirk. And of course, I called Matt Walsh a Shabbos Goy race traitor back in 2019. Because he came out after the Walmart shooting and said, this white terrorist piece of shit, we got to give him the death penalty. And I said, of course, it's only when it's a white killer that everybody wants to talk tough. When it's somebody else, well, no one even cares. When it's a white killer, white people want to show how not racist they are by, trying to do this tough guy routine. So
I'm kind of curious how much Trump will lean into that, though, because like the 2016 cycle, people forget he retweeted a quote from Mussolini.
That was 16, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, 16. But I mean, he was going pretty hard, and then I don't know. It's like I guess the question is like, did he learn a lesson from 2020? Because I've heard you say on your show before, like in 2016, Trump ran as an independent, and basically the reason he won is he won people that would have voted for Obama at the last election.
In 2020, he ran as a Republican.
Yeah. And now, like this time, it seems like immigration, deportations, that's like front of his messaging, saying anti-white. It's like, what angle is he going to take for this election?
He always leans in, though, before the election. Like in the midterms in 18, he said, I'm going to call myself a nationalist. We're going to bring that word back. The election happened, never said it again. Like literally never brought it back up. And he did the same thing, put the National Guard on the border in 18. And then in 2019, the border was worse than it had been in 20 years. So
that's interesting, though, because it shows that he is conscious of like the way to win elections is to basically be a fascist.
Yeah, right, literally.
And then he just betrays it. Yeah, it shows that he's quite conscious.
Yes.
What mistakes do you think he made in 2020 that he should avoid this cycle?
I think in 2020, he listened to his Republican advisors. They told him the way to win the election is to get Hispanics and blacks. And the way you're going to get blacks is with the Platinum Plan and the First Step Act and bringing Tip Scott around to the rallies. And the way to win Hispanics or other people is not to go too hard on immigration. But the other thing in 2020 is COVID. People forget that was the biggest thing. And I think he won in 2020. I think that.
Yeah, I mean, the election, Royal Rumble, we could say that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, YouTube, you couldn't say that. But,
right. That's what it was. The mail-in ballots. I mean, I don't know how much you believe in this, but they solicited ballots from every registered voter in every state. And in states like Wisconsin, they changed the laws on indefinitely confined people, where it was a free-for-all in terms of how people were voting. So I think he won, but if anything, if he lost any voters, it's because he didn't follow through on what he promised the base. He didn't follow through with the withdrawal from Iraq and Afghanistan, didn't build the whole border wall, didn't prosecute Hillary Clinton. So I hope it's a vengeance. That's
supposedly he blamed Jared Kushner for the 2020 strategy of trying to win over blacks.
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting. I mean, what do you think? What role do you think Kushner would have if he gets reelected? Do you think he'll be back in the administration?
They say that he's out. They say that he's already recommitted, because he said, I think in 2022 when Trump announced that he's not coming back, and then he reconfirmed he's not coming back recently. So I hope
Kushner's
that's
out, so the big win.
is what?
Kushner's out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, allegedly. But I'm sure if Trump won, he'd slither back in. You know how that goes.
So then why is he tweeting stop the protest? Like, who is that? If he's trying to get the blacks and the Hispanics, then what is like saying stop the protest? What is that?
I'm sure that's some kind of Jewish influence around him.
Yeah.
How, Sway?
I mean, because they're all doing that. Vance tweeted it. J.D. Vance, senator from Ohio. Blake
Yeah.
Masters tweeted it.
You don't like that guy at all?
No.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
Uh-oh.
Vice President pick J.D. Vance.
Why do you know that?
It's a rumor. It's not 100%, but I heard on good authority from several people that Vance is the pick for vice president. It's a big problem.
What's the reason behind that? And when do they have? How much time do they have to announce the VP?
Well, there's no deadline, but the convention I think is in July or August. So typically they announce it in the month or two leading up to that. It's like June. Could happen earlier than that. They say, because it's surprising, J.D. Vance is a freshman senator from Ohio. So he's only been in office for 2 years, barely 2 years. And the other thing about him is that he was an anti-Trumper. He didn't vote for Trump in 2016.
Uh-oh.
And in fact,
He's a young guy, right?
Relatively young. Yeah, I think he's like late 30s, early 40s. But he loved Obama. He voted for Evan McMullen, who was a CIA agent in 2016, who was picked by Bill Kristol. Bill Kristol's like the #1 neocon that pushed the Iraq war. He was hand-selected, and J.D. Vance voted for him. Never Trumper said Trump is a racist, a nut job, toxic, everything you can imagine back in 2016. And now they want to tap him to be the vice president.
The other interesting thing about Vance, though, is he's like super closely connected to Peter Thiel.
Mm-hmm.
Who, if you know about Peter Thiel, you know he's one of the original PayPal mafia, Silicon Valley billionaire. He has lots of kind of shady connections. He's been kind of dipping his toe in the kind of dissident right, alt-right circles the last few years. You know, the scent of Thiel is around a lot of stuff Nick doesn't like in terms of the kind of subversion that enters into the dissident right. So if he did get in, that would basically, I don't know what you think, but I feel like that would basically be Peter Thiel running the presidency.
Yeah, big problem.
And that's kind of been his thing for a few years. Like, he funded Curtis Yarvin, who's this like Jewish intellectual. He founded Neo Reaction, NRX. It was this big reactionary thing back in the day. Lots of nerds followed it. But yeah, Thiel like funded his comeback. He's like the philosopher of Peter Thiel. And Yarvin's whole thing is like, you need to have like a CEO run in America. You need to run it like a Silicon Valley company. You need one of these like tech nerds running everything.
Like a Andrew Yang type philosophy?
Yeah, well, like a Peter Thiel type guy, that you just put a Silicon Valley type guy in charge and run America like a technocracy and get rid of the kind of illusion of democracy. But yeah, supposedly that's their whole thing, is they think they're going to like coup the government.
How much do you guys agree with each other on politics?
We have some substantial disagreements. No, but we're pretty closely aligned. But I'm Catholic. He's a Neoplatonist.
You keep saying this. I don't even know what that means.
No one knows.
Okay.
Some fucking nerd philosophy. No offense. No, it is philosophy club, fake religion. But no, and I'm like a conspiracy theorist. He's like a trust the science narrative cock. Like, he thinks.
Did you get vaccinated?
Yes. No, he
no.
didn't.
Oh, fuck.
He didn't.
God damn.
But he doesn't think that it kills people. Whenever someone dies, I'm like, vaxxed? And Keith is like, no, they weren't vaxxed. They were not.
I think it kills some people, but I think the narratives about that in terms of mass die-offs and stuff were pretty much fell by the wayside. But I think probably the biggest difference between us is because I'm like, he calls it like a petty nationalist, like I believe in like homelands
Here we
for all
go.
people, self-determination. I like the idea of like small states, small communities. I'm from Ireland, and then he wants like, power projection and submarines and spaceships.
He's from Ireland, and I'm American. So I'm always like, what is it like being born in a country that doesn't really matter? Like, no offense. I mean, I don't mean to shit on, I'm Irish. So I love Ireland, but it's like America's a world empire. We have 10 aircraft carriers. We have 5,000 nuclear warheads. He's rolling those. We have the biggest navy. We've landed on the fucking moon. You have no submarines. You have no planes. You got no tanks. And so, Keith's philosophy is he's like, well, let everyone just do their own thing. Like, let every people like have their own country and be nationalists. And I'm like, America owns the world. Like, everyone bows to America. We have to be an empire. So I'm an empire guy. He's like a national. He's a true nationalist. But that's because you have no submarines.
Yeah.
You know.
If Nick ever wins, I will have to fight him.
Yeah, that's true.
You're gonna go against him?
Yeah, because I mean, he's going to try and subjugate my country.
That's right.
I would have to go guerrilla warfare mode.
Yeah, IRA.
You think he'd put up a good fight?
No, they have no submarines. It's over for them. They have no cruisers, no destroyers. They got nothing. Well, I don't know. They have heart.
Well, we got to have dinner last night, and I got to figure out like their relation, how you guys met in the first place. You guys had beef in the beginning, I guess, or
True.
you used to shit on him all the time, and then
that was one way beef. You know, he was kind of an asshole.
That's true. Yeah, I was like his worst. I was just a critic because this guy was with Richard Spencer doing a show, and I was like,
"You were with Richard Spencer?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Former co-host of the Mike Spencer group. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they did a show together. So
and you have beef with everyone. Like, I don't even. You probably don't like Richard Spencer for some reason that I don't know.
I like him now.
They met up, but they were huge enemies.
Yeah, we were mortal enemies. He called me on the phone saying he was going to beat me up the next time he saw me.
Okay.
Then I saw him. Then I bumped into him, and I was like, "Hey, you gonna beat me up?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Let's just talk over here." You know, he's like, "Let's just," and we squashed the beef. But then we got back into it. But now we're good again.
That was like the big rupture in the alt-right, you know.
Was you guys?
Nick and Fuentes.
Clash of the Titans.
Nick wanted to usurp him.
And I won. I succeeded.
Yeah, you did.
I'm really curious now because they used to be the alt-right, but it's like the alt-right's becoming mainstream. Like it used to be this alternative, like the people burning tiki torches, and now it's like the narrative is pushed so far into mainstream politics that they're trying really hard to pretend like you guys don't exist, or like even me that I don't exist. But they're very aware because they're getting ratioed on Twitter all the time. They have to go and adjust their talking points for these people. The youth is especially, they're aligning with so many alt-right issues. What do you think that's like for these people? How much are they having to pretend? And what do you know about their decisions in pretending like the alt-right doesn't exist still?
Well, we were just talking about this. There's a lot of mystery surround. What we have learned over the years is that there is so much mystery surrounding right-wing politics. Like, there are spies and feds everywhere, and the influence of money is everywhere. And so I would say anyone analyzing right-wing politics, things are not as they seem. In other words, people watch politics, and when I say they're not as they seem, what politics purports to be is you have these people, and they're good faith actors. They're telling you their honest opinions, and they are who they say they are. In reality, it's not like that. It's like certain people are selected, and certain people rise and fall based on the influence of money and based on the influence of shadowy groups. And anyway, I think that what is driving the trend right now is just that the young people are all with the Groypers. The young people are all with me. You know, I think every conservative in America under the age of 25 has been influenced by the Groypers. They're either are a Groyper, they're a version of a Groyper, or they hate Groypers, and the Groypers are the bane of their existence. And so, like Turning Point, we had a big rivalry with them, and they hated us. They fired everyone that was associated with me. And then this past year, their CFO, Tyler Boyer, said, well, you know, some of the Groypers are okay. That's because they all work for Turning Point now. So, and they can't hire anybody that isn't a Groyper because there aren't anybody under 25 that aren't Groypers.
Well, the thing is, it's funny you said that actually, because there's been a lot of stuff written about that lately, like, oh, the dissident right won. Some of these guys like Scott Greer was saying, like, we should just drop this label because our ideas are already mainstream. You saw there, like, Trump is talking about anti-whiteism. These were like the pillars, like anti-whiteism. A poll came out, most Americans support deportation. So it's like on immigration, on the anti-white agenda, on all this stuff. Like, yeah, that's kind of mainstream conservatism now. You know, Elon was tweeting about the great replacement this week. So then it's like, there's like one issue left.
It's the Jewish influence in American politics.
Yeah.
Right.
So now there's like a new kind of dissident space, which I feel like emerged since like Bandy ADL October 7th. And it is these guys like, you know, Lucas Gage, Jake Shields.
Lucas Gage is in here right now. I am Myron. I want to say shout out to them. Also,
Let's
Jake
go.
Future's in here. What's up, guys? But this is a good example of this. So we were talking about this yesterday, and I don't even think we saw the tweet. I think he actually tweeted when we were playing soccer.
Yeah.
So someone says at Jordan Peterson, Jordan, when are you going to have a conversation with Nick Fuentes? He says, when hell freezes over. So I don't know, like I just read it, like, why is he tweeting like a vampire?
Yeah,
like he's Dracula. Like, what do you mean? Like, just say you won't do it, or just don't respond to it. Why is he like doing these? He's always tweeting like, "Give him hell." Like,
yeah.
And he's not even Christian. It's like it's these weird, like he's like casting a spell. I don't like it. Why would he even say this? And I mean, this is just stupid from like Jordan Peterson. This is really dumb for you to say this, because when you really publicly avoid speaking to someone, guess what? They're gonna want you to do it even more. And then your fans, which they're dwindling your core audience, they're just more interested in the Goiper movement and in Nick Fuentes in the America, like this, like in the first prize.
Shoot silence.
Everyone here is just gonna keep on pressing you to go and speak about this, and even Jordan Peterson will have a conversation with this guy.
Like, have you ever tried sucking a dick before? How do you know if you like it?
Yeah, so I mean, like, the more, you know, it becomes really silly. Jordan Peterson, if you don't want to speak to Nick Fuentes, don't do this. Now everyone's gonna, well, what do you think? What do you make of this?
Well, it reminds me, I don't know if you saw this, but years ago he went on tour and he does a question and answer. And somebody came up and said, well, will you answer the Jewish question? Because Jordan Peterson's really into Alexander Solzhenitsyn, who is like a dissident Soviet or formerly Russian author. And he wrote an essay called 200 Years Together, which was never translated into English, and is about the Jews in Russia and the problems they were causing. And Jordan Peterson is heavy into Solzhenitsyn. So a guy came up and said, well, you're into Solzhenitsyn. He wrote this article. What do you think? And Jordan Peterson literally said, I can't answer that question. I just can't. And that was it. Mm-hmm. And people have been quoting that forever. Yep. And he says a lot of weird shit. Like he said, you know, I walk down the street and they call me rabbi, and he starts like weeping.
That's great.
I'm like, what? So, and then he put that tweet out. I had the same reaction. I'm like, what purpose does that even serve? Like, ignoring me makes sense on the one hand, but to say I will not engage with that person, it acknowledges me. The tweet now has 1 million impressions. And even people that don't like me are saying, well, I thought you're in favor of open discussion. If you don't like the guy, why not talk to him?
His whole thing is communism is like the most evil ideology ever. Kill 100 million people. He debates like open communists. Almost, he has that Daily Wire show. He's at Destiny on. He's been Slavoj Žižek, all these other communist intellectuals. And it's like, yeah, he's supposed to be winning over young men. You've got a guy here with
you're losing them. And they're going to keep calling you Juden Peterstein. And I recommend you keep doing that, because then we're going to get more clips of him crying. If you see Jordan Peterson around, call him Rabbi, call him Jordan Peterstein. It's going to make him laugh, hopefully. But it's very stupid that he's doing this. I don't see the strategy whatsoever. I mean, someone like Candace Owens is probably trying to pretend like you don't exist. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I don't want to like blow up her spot or whatever, but she obviously, you know, I said this on my show. She can acknowledge me or she can refuse to acknowledge me. She goes on Twitter every day and says, Christ is king, America first, Christ is king. Where have we heard that before? You know, like, obviously she knows who I am. She's watched my show. We have 1 million mutual friends. So I think she's playing some kind of game where she doesn't say my name, she doesn't acknowledge me. Maybe she thinks that's helping her in some way. I don't really appreciate it, because I feel like I said all that stuff before it was popular, before October 7th. I got banned for it. I got blacklisted. And I even said this to her during A24 when, you know, we were together for that back in LA. I don't want to repeat the whole conversation. Yeah, but she was like, I kind of told her, I'm like, it's kind of easy for you to be this crusader when you're making money from Daily Wire. I got canceled by Daily Wire when I was 18. You got a big contract with them to do a show and got paid by them until you weren't. And now the Christ is King, America first message is hers. I feel like there's something there that's not right. I mean, don't get me wrong, though. I support what she's doing. I support her message. It's not about me. It's about the message. But I think that I'm for obvious reasons not in love with the fact that she's playing a game about that, not acknowledging me.
Looks like she dropped the ball on the Ben Shapiro debate.
Yeah, you see that?
Yeah, I did. I wish that would have happened. Yeah, I want to see that.
But, she had a good opportunity there. I think it's not going to happen now.
Yeah, she blew it.
I mean, we could still press for it to happen. If there's going to be enough like public pressure, they might fold and do it again. But I want to see more conversations like that. Like the one that you had with Destiny on the Fresh and Fit podcast was really good. Ethan Klein from the H3 podcast, he asked me to debate. He said, like, he called me stupid and said I won't debate. I said, let's debate Zionism, and then just stopped acknowledging it. And since then, I've been banned on Instagram. But, Ethan Klein, I would love to have that conversation. The more we keep pressuring people to do this, the more they're going to want to have this conversation. We're seeing it on college campuses right now. Right? Like, the more they keep trying to avoid the subject, like H3H is trying to avoid the subject of Zionism, Candace Owens, Jordan Peterson, they've tried to push it away for so long that now it just bubbles to the surface more. And when you get the youth that's talking about this so much, you can't really avoid it. What are your takes on the whole college protest right now and everything that's happening across America?
Well, it's kind of become a tough issue because on the one hand, I supported it initially because I said, like, this is going to prevent America from fighting Israel's war with Iran. Because if they paralyze every university and there's some confrontation between the cops and the protesters, I thought this is going to be like a Kent State moment, like what it did for Vietnam. That'll be this way for Israel-Palestine. And I'm kind of two minds. I do still feel like that. On the other hand, I feel like it's now becoming a diversion. And now no one's talking about Gaza. Now everyone's talking about the protests and about Jewish students are being attacked and these people are radicals and they're breaking windows. And it's allowed, I think, the focus to go away from what the Israelis are doing in Gaza and now to these protests. And it's mobilizing the boomer conservatives against the Palestinian protesters because the Zionists are very clever. They identify these protesters with like BLM and with the left. And they, admittedly, there is a real connection there. And now these boomers who maybe would have been apathetic are like, oh, we got to get rid of these protesters. We got to come after, crush them, whatever. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it remains to be seen how efficacious it'll be.
Boomers would have supported that regardless.
That's true.
I mean, they're always going to be against it. They're always going to be against the youth protesting. And I'm not really sure. I actually want to go and see what it's like at these protests because the headlines are always going to be like, oh, it's really violent. It's terrible. Stop the protest. But you look back at 2020, you see that they were like burning down buildings, breaking glass, lighting cars on fire, and they were allowed to continue protesting, right? We broke quarantine in order to do the BLM protest. But then some college campuses, like they want to step away from class. Immediately, they're like, stop the protest. There's a very obvious double standard. But I think it's good. And I was wondering, we were talking about this at dinner. It's an important conversation to have. What kind of impact can people like us have at these college protests? Right? We're speaking about this issue every single day. Like Keith is doing great things with Ban the ADL. Obviously, we know the America First movement. Would we be accepted at these places, or would we be shunned by the youth for being, they'd like to say neo-Nazi, any of these things to take away credibility? I'm wondering what it would be like, or if it would be important or crucial to come there and try to like we may disagree on some things, but there's a lot in common. Let's go unite in this issue of Zionism, just like that we've united. Like you're Hindu or whatever, you're Christian, I'm Muslim. Like we're not in here debating about the differences in our theology. We're saying, look, we have common ground on this issue. Let's just go speak about this because it's the most important thing we could speak about with our platform.
Yeah, I feel like they would kill me. Like if I went to one of these things, they would beat the shit out of me because the thing is, these guys are hardcore leftists. Like you go to Columbia, you go to Berkeley, these are hardcore left-wing people. Some of them are even Jewish. I mean, they're pro-Palestine, but some of them are even these like radical communist Jews. And so I said this even when the whole thing started. I mean, I'm in Chicago and they're always protesting in Chicago, but I'm kind of like, that's their thing. Because these protesters, they don't support Palestine for the same reason, at least that I do. You're probably more with them because you're Muslim. I sympathize with the Palestinians, and what Israel's doing is horrible, but I come at it from the position of America first. I don't want America to be dragged into a war. I don't want these people to be displaced and sent to America and Europe. I don't want to fight Iran, and I think that at the same time, it's deeply evil what Israel's doing. It's a genocide. They're murdering these people. But these people that protest, they only care about Palestine because they're co-religionists. They're fellow Muslims or they're fellow brown people that see it as a one struggle for liberation. And there's memes going around where the pro-Palestine protesters are fighting the Nazis and the Zionists. And so
You got to think, though, there was a lot of people, like, on the original alt-right, a lot of people that came to nationalism, they started out being like anti-Iraq war and anti-Bush, and it was that kind of shit-lib, like Michael Moore, like anti-imperialism, and then they kind of just floated for a while, but then they ended up getting in on the anti-Zionism stuff, the distant right type stuff. And I don't know. I know there's a lot of people that are writing it off, saying, "Oh, they're all just like anti-white, third worldist types." But it's like it's a big crowd. It's a pretty mixed crowd. I'm sure there's a lot of people in there. Some of them are like the spiteful mutant anti-white types, but there's got to be a lot of people there that just have, a vague kind of humanitarian concern that are going to see the system go like totally mask off to defend Jewish interests. And I don't know, some of them will be sent down a rabbit hole, not most of them, but there's got to be some of them that are...
Yeah, there's got to be a lot of them that are going to start questioning this and then look more and then try to see who's been speaking about it for a while. You guys are kind of saying that it's not worth going there, engaging with these people, but I feel like because they're so radical right now and they're so anti-genocide by the hands of Israel, that these people you can convert. Like, you can get a lot of these, like, they, them, blue-haired people to become groypers, I think. If you gave them a lending hand, said, come here.
I think welcome. The ones that'll end up there would find that themselves. I think there's so much stuff available with the internet now that if you're going to end up as a groyper, you're going to have found that stuff. I think if you go directly to the blue-haired types, they're probably just going to try and kill you.
Yeah, I think it's naive. I think they, and even like the liberals that are there that aren't spiteful mutants, all it's going to take, I'll tell you what's going to happen. If I roll up at something like that, maybe not you, but me, if I roll up there, someone's going to say, hey, is that Nick Fuentes? Get the fuck out of here. And then they're going to say, what? All the liberals are going to say, what? Who is that? Oh, he's a racist? Oh, get the fuck out. And then they're all, literally, and they're going to fucking lynch me. You'd probably be accepted maybe because at least you're brown. It's like more plausible that you're like with them and you're Muslim. So,
but even that, like they say that they align so much with Muslims, like these they them people to put the LGBT flag. If they knew what like was happening in the Middle East, the people like they're like, what they're doing, they're following the call to prayer. They're doing Muslim prayers. It's like, Muslims they like traditionally. You might get like put in a hole. You might get stoned. Right. Like for what you're doing. So you're not. Don't think that that you align them completely with Islam just because you're pro-Palestine. That's naive thinking as well.
Totally.
But that's liberals not really understanding completely. But it's a thought.
It is kind of interesting how Jews always co-opt these pro-Palestine movements. So I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, like Norm Finkelstein. You see that?
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
What do you mean co-opting the movement?
Well, you always find some of these pro-Palestine protest movements, they have Jews at the front of them. It's actually very common in the US. And you also find that some of the pro-Palestine academics that have gotten promoted often tend to be Jews. So there's a guy, if you were to name the three most prominent pro-Palestine academics, it would be like Noam Chomsky, Jewish, Norman Finkelstein, Jewish, and Ilan Pappé, Jewish. He wrote the ethnic cleansing of Palestine. And all of those guys do the thing of like Zionism is just an expression of American imperialism, right? It has nothing to do with Judaism. Jews are the victims, innocent poor Jews get the blame of Zionism. But really this is about American geostrategic interests in the Middle East, all this kind of thing. They never debate critics of that position. Like Chomsky has pushed that out there for years. There have been academics that have pushed back against that and said, no, this is because of the Israel lobby. He doesn't engage with them. And those Jewish academics will support getting those people cancelled as well. And you see the same thing with some of the, Jewish Voices for Peace. They'll do this thing, Zionism is Nazism. The settlers there in Israel, they're like European immigrants, this kind of thing. I mean, even what's that, like Torah Judaism on Twitter? They're like the Orthodox Jews in New York. That do the whole thing like Zionism, Israel has nothing to do with religious Judaism. They were like on Twitter trying to get, they were like doing a campaign to get Lucas Gage banned off Twitter. So they always do the same kind of gatekeeping, but the criticism is always like, oh, Zionism is just, it's like an expression of imperialism or fascism. It's some like impersonal force. Like it never has anything to do with the character of Judaism.
Well, and Norm Finkelstein said, he went to one of these debates and he said, well, we can't say that Jews control America. And I think they said that, and he refused to debate. He's like, someone spoke before me and said Jews control America. I'm out of here. I'm done. And it's like, oh, that's kind of curious. I thought this was the base Jew that supports Palestine, but I guess not when you embrace any view of Jewish power outside of the Israel lobby. And it's Max Blumenthal's another one.
Yeah. Max
Blumenthal at Gray Zone, he's a Jew, son of Sidney Blumenthal, who was the hatchet man for Hillary Clinton. and he's at the forefront of the pro-Palestine thing as well.
So you think they're trying to infiltrate and then push the narrative one specific
it's
direction?
like everything else. Yeah, they co-opt these movements and they steer them in a way that doesn't undermine Jewish power. So
because there is like a Jewish critique of Zionism. Like even when Zionism was in its early formation, like there's always been this sort of broad division in Judaism. It's like the core Jews versus the shtetl Jews, or like the finance Jews versus the Zionist Jews, of like what's the best kind of strategy for Jews. And this was like the debate they were having, before Israel was founded. They were saying, well, if we have a state, we're going to become just another country, and we can't have this benefit of being able to live among the Gentiles, being able to take part in many different societies, to move between them. And this debate is kind of still ongoing to an extent. Like you could say Biden represents that kind of internationalist Jew perspective. Trump was very much aligned with the Zionist Jews. George Soros is an example. He's not a Zionist, but he has this kind of internationalist Jewish critique of it, where Jews are more benefited from the open society. And that's what you find with the kind of anti-Zionist critique that's approved by the Jewish establishment, is you have to critique it from this perspective of it's fascism, it's bad because it's not the open society, it harms Jews. But like the narrative is always like centering Jews as the main character. Like even when you always see this stuff on Twitter like, oh, the Holocaust in 1945, and now it's the Jews doing the Holocaust, or oh, the poor Jews were the victim of fascism, and now this tragedy that they're doing fascism, or fascism is being done on their behalf. So it's still this like victim narrative that kind of centers Jews to advance the open society playbook.
So what do you think the narrative should be? What are they getting wrong? What should they be saying?
the narrative should be they run the world and they have to be replaced in American power because they only care about each other. Like, actually, what Candace Owens is doing is pretty much on the money when she says, because what Candace Owens is doing smartly is she's showing how conspicuous Jews are. Conspicuous means how much they stand out, how much attention they're getting. And she does that by saying, she's making Christianity a wedge issue by saying, we all worship Jesus, they don't. We all love Jesus, they hate him. We want to unite based on Christianity, they don't. We care about America, they care about Israel. And so I think it's that dual message of Christ is King, America first. Those are two things they will never say because they hate Jesus and they put Israel first. So Shapiro will never say either of those things. Dennis Prager, Dave Portnoy, none of those guys will ever say either of those things. And it hits them from two sides. It hits them from God and nation. They don't worship our God. They're not loyal to our nation. They should have no power. So I think that those are like, that's the jab, and that's the other one.
The right cross.
That's the total destruction. So not total destruction. That's the total patriotic victory if you get them with both.
We were speaking about this yesterday about Alex Jones at dinner. You guys were, well, first, before I play this video or show it, what are your thoughts on Alex Jones?
I think he's a shill.
Shill, Keith?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think he's more an opportunist. I think he just kind of goes with where the audience is, which is probably why he's doing this as well.
Well, I love Alex Jones, and Alex Jones, I would love if he'd come on my stream, of course. Well, he posted this today. He said, the Zionist death grip on the United States government. So if he's a shill, why is he saying this? He's basically saying that 9/11 was an inside job.
I think it's audience pressure. I think if you look at his replies for the last few months, since he came back to Twitter, it's it's Groyper's in there. It's this huge network that's been built the last few months. Like, Twitter, the people on the right on Twitter, his audience have woken up to this. He debated Stu Peters on this issue a couple of months ago, and he got totally blown out by Stu. And he's just got pressure from every side. The other hosts on InfoWars have started to talk about the Israel lobby. Like Owen Schroyer, Harrison Smith, they've been really good on that. And I mean, he was doing a show recently where he was like so frustrated because he did a post on Hitler's birthday mocking Hitler, and he's like, my God, like every comment is pro-Hitler, like what the hell is happening? So I think he just has audience pressure. He realizes this is where the momentum is. And
so he's just folding because that's where the audience is.
Yeah, I think so. I thought he was hacked initially.
Yeah, you didn't believe it was him.
Yeah, how
from
he
this
is.
post specifically?
Yeah, because I saw that right when he posted it today, and it says they did JFK, 9/11, the Liberty. It goes through all the stuff.
It's funny, we were talking about all this yesterday, and then this all happened today. Like Jordan Peterson and Alex Jones both did this right after we had this conversation. So they're saying he's saying that Mossad did 9/11 basically.
And it's everything. They go into the Liberty, they go into the dancing Israelis, and they even talk about the protests. In the very beginning, Alex Jones 2 days ago said shut down the protests, and in the video it says no, the Zionists are shutting down the campus protests. So that's why I thought it was a hack or something. But I agree with Keith. I think it's opportunistic because the guy never criticizes Israel or Jews ever.
So what opportunity is he gaining from this?
It's to try to win back his audience. The audience totally not buying his like 5-dimensional chess for why he hates Hitler or whatever. Like, oh, I don't hate Hitler because the Holocaust. I hate Hitler for like this really arcane reason that is really intellectual. No one buys that. So I think he's trying to win people back.
And then also Netanyahu posted this today saying, I didn't watch this yet, but he basically comparing did you see this yet?
No.
So I made this short. We could watch this, but apparently he's comparing it to the Holocaust. You see Jackson Hinkle here. Got the ratio. But if anyone saw this, maybe you can give me a summary real quick. But let's see.
Is contemplating issuing arrest warrants against
you have to hear
Israeli government and military officials as war criminals. This would be an outrage of historic proportions. International bodies like the ICC arose in the wake of the Holocaust committed against the Jewish people. They were set up to prevent such horrors, to prevent future genocides. Yet now, the International Court is trying to put Israel in the dock. It's trying to put us in the dock as we defend ourselves against genocidal terrorists and regimes, Iran of course, that openly works to destroy the one and only Jewish state. Branding Israel's leaders and soldiers as war criminals will pour jet fuel on the fires of anti-Semitism, those fires that are already raging on the campuses of America and across capitals around the world. It will also be the first time that a democratic country fighting for its life, according to the rules of war, is itself accused of war crimes. The Israeli army, the IDF, is one of the most moral militaries in the world. It takes endless measures to prevent civilian casualties, measures that no other army takes. It does so while fighting a terrorist enemy, which uses its own civilians as human shields. You know the truth. Hamas places its weapons, its terrorists, in hospitals, schools, mosques, and throughout civilian areas. They do this in order to win immunity and to maximize civilian casualties. So while Hamas shows no care for the lives of Palestinians and steals humanitarian aid meant for civilians, Israel is facilitating a surge of humanitarian assistance to Gaza. And we do this to ensure that the Palestinian population's humanitarian needs are met, rather than commend Israel for abiding by the rules of war while fighting an enemy that violates every...
So he's blaming the genocide on Hamas.
Yeah.
Saying that they're trying to go maximize civilian casualties to go and get international support.
Yeah.
So is this the first time that he's acknowledged the genocide?
Well, no, that's the oldest trick in the book. I mean, that's Golda Meir, who was the prime minister of Israel in the 60s. She said, we will never forgive the Arabs for making us kill their children. So this is like, it's Hasbara 101.
What's the statement like? They cry out as they
strike you.
Yeah.
Including 133 Israeli men, women, and children hostages. Who's the ICC targeting? The democracy called Israel. And in targeting Israel, the ICC would be targeting all democracies because it would be undermining their inherent right to defend themselves against savage terrorism and wanton aggression. Clearly, this threat by the ICC is not an attempt to enforce the law. Israel is not even subject to the court's jurisdiction, and it has an independent legal system that rigorously investigates all violations of the law. Rather, this ICC attempt is an attempt to paralyze Israel's very ability to defend itself. The government and people of Israel reject outright this great threat to our security, this great threat to our very existence.
Well, it's funny. You guys were saying you walked around Miami Beach today, right?
Yeah.
You know his son lives there?
Netanyahu, yeah.
Yeah, Netanyahu's son lives right where you were probably getting tacos today.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe you saw him when you were eating.
Probably, yeah. He was watching us.
No ICC action will impact Israel's ironclad determination to achieve the goals of our war with Hamas terrorists. We will destroy Hamas's military and governing capabilities in Gaza. We will release all our hostages, and we will ensure that Gaza never poses a threat to Israel again. Israel expects the leaders of the free world to stand firmly against the ICC outrageous assault on Israel's inherent right of self-defense. We expect them to use all the means at their disposal to stop this dangerous move. 6 months after the terrible Hamas massacre of October 7th, 80 years after the horrors of the Holocaust,
there we go.
The Jewish state calls on decent people everywhere to reject this outrage by the ICC, to stand with Israel as we fight the barbarians of Hamas and Iran, and as we work to secure a more peaceful world.
Takeaways?
It's more of the same. I mean, that's all just like Hasbara. That's Israeli propaganda. I mean, up and down the whole human shields and the ICE. You know, they're fighting a war of defense. They're the most moral army. The most moral army thing has been around for a long time. They, I think, came up with that in 2014 when they went into Gaza 9 years ago, 10 years ago, and everybody was saying Palestinians are throwing rocks and they're blowing them up with tanks. And they said, no, they're the most moral army ever. And if we blow up hospitals and mosques, that's because they're just using them as human shields. But what's interesting is the ICC is going after them. South Africa's been pushing it, International Criminal Court. But this also came on the heels of the State Department. The U.S. State Department has discussed sanctioning one of the units in the Israeli Defense Force. It's like these, it's a unit that's made up of settlers. It's like these radical religious Zionists. And they specifically have been accused of war crimes. And the State Department has said, we're going to sanction this part of the IDF. And the Israeli government says, yo, you can't do that. Because I think they recognize if the United States does that, that would be a pretty severe precedent to establish from America. And maybe might lead to some reluctance to support them if they go out against Hezbollah, if they bomb Iran. So this ICC thing is happening right around the same time as that. I think everyone's trying to restrain Israel from going into Rafah. And I think they recognize the threat of Israel going to war with Iran.
What happens if they issue the arrest warrants? How do they even enforce that?
It's I mean, they did it to Putin, with the International Criminal Court, or the ICJ. And,
basically the government has to comply, right? Because they did that till, after the Yugoslav war, the Serbs and the Croats. But that was just the government, handing up these old, warlords.
Yeah, it's meaningless. But what's meaningful is that they don't like to be condemned in the UN. They don't like to be condemned in the Security Council. They don't like anything. That's why America vetoes all the anti-Israel resolutions. So even though it's not enforceable and it doesn't do anything, it kind of gives credibility to the fact that they are a pariah state, that they're war criminals, that they're committing a genocide. So I think they strive not to have that happen.
Why do they dislike being condemned in the United Nations so much?
Because, like I said, I think it gives credibility to the idea they're war criminals. So much of what they're enabled to do is primarily through propaganda, because they'll commit a genocide and then they whitewash it by saying, oh, well, we had to do it to defend ourselves. Well, we're a really moral army. If you say there's an arrest warrant out for Bibi Netanyahu, it's kind of hard to claim those things. So, and it also builds the case for sanctions against Israel, for other countries to go against Israel. So, they're a very small country. They, and as powerful as they are, things could go very badly for them very quickly if countries started to turn on them, if they started to pull away from the United States. So I think they're...
Well, take the genocide case South Africa took against them. If that passed, then by the law, the UN would have had to put, emergency restrictions on Israel. The world would have had to intervene to stop them committing this genocide. And the only thing that would have held that back would have been the US just vetoing all those sanctions. So it basically comes down to the US is what's securing them. So it's they're in a secure position right now, but it's really quite tenuous. If they lose US public opinion, everything flips. Then the international community, the UN can start sanctioning them. It can force them to come to a resolution, force a Palestinian state. So that's why you see, even Netanyahu, he's putting out the statements saying these college protests have to end. Elon Musk was retweeting it. It's why is this guy in the Middle East this concerned about a few college protests? Mm-hmm. But it's it really rests on them keeping the US. And it is it's an emergency, crisis for them that they've lost Zoomers in the US. Because what are they going to do in 20, 30 years when they have another Gaza war?
So the narrative from the youth is actually extremely important for Israel.
Yeah, well, it's like he said, it's about American public opinion, because Israel can't do what it's doing without America's security guarantee. They would not be able to fight a war in Gaza, forget about Lebanon, forget about Iran, unless they have America with a sustained blank check military guarantee. Israel knows they could do anything. We will always support them forever. But America's support for Israel is predicated on the American public's support for that position, which up until recently was airtight. It was bipartisan. It was intergenerational. Now, and it's like he said, you look at the younger generation, Greenblatt from the ADL said this, the young people don't support Israel. And as a matter of fact, they support Palestine instead. 30 years, the Zoomers are going to be the boomers, and the younger generation will be the same or more radical. If all the voters hate Israel, America can't say we're going to do everything all the time forever to support Israel. And if we don't do that, Israel can't defend themselves from Iran. They can't fight offensive wars. So their national security runs right through Columbia, runs right through MIT, and that's the battleground where it's happening.
There was a poll last year. They polled young people on what ideal outcome they'd like for Israel-Palestine. You know, two-state solution, one-state solution, blah blah. The most popular outcome, like that the majority of Zoomers support, was letting Hamas control all of Israel, which is like imagine if that becomes U.S. majority public opinion. Like Israel is just screwed. It's over.
So they completely lost the narrative battle.
Yes, yeah.
And that's why they want to ban TikTok.
Yeah.
Because a lot of TikTokers are waking up. So this is actually effective. Like streams like this and having these types of conversations that's actually, you know, that can change the course of genocide in the next 30 years.
100%. And,
Okay.
you know, that's why the IDF does it. The IDF has a unit of people that they literally go on social media and defend Israel. This is well known. This was admitted in 2013 by BBC. They fly people out to Israel, train them in the IDF. Yeah. They personally work with Netanyahu, and their job is to go on Twitter and say, Israel's the most moral army.
They almost got Jake Shields. There's footage of Jake Shields in Israel training IDF soldiers back in, I think, 2013. And he's like, yeah, Israel's great, blah, blah, blah. Like, they flew him out there to try to put propaganda in his head. Yeah. And then he leaves and then says good things about Israel. They got a Bobby Lee. He was on Joe Rogan saying the same thing that he was supposed to, like, to try to get him to kiss the wall and do that. So then he goes back to America and pushes that narrative. And people are questioning now, like, wait, why did I do that? What was actually good about this country? What did I learn from this place? And so it's all strategic effort, but it doesn't work anymore.
No. Well, that's the point. It's like, if they didn't care, if the stuff on social media doesn't matter, the IDF wouldn't be doing it. Israel wouldn't be spending money to train people in this. It matters what Americans think. So, and that's really what America First is about. We want Americans to control what Americans think, not Israelis brainwashing us so that America goes and fucking dies for them against Iran.
Right.
That's right.
So ban the ADL probably did quite a bit, you know, like you should take some sort of pride in shifting the narrative forward a lot. Like, did you get any messages or emails from boomers, or was it mostly Zoomers you think that you woke up with ban the ADL? Greenblatt probably hates you. Netanyahu's definitely aware of you and hates you. But who do you think was, what demographic do you think you changed the minds of the most?
Yeah, it was mostly Zoomers. But I mean, there was a lot of people, like, I look at guys like some of the Twitter people you'd be familiar with, like Jake Shields and, you know, Anna Lupus. Some of these people weren't really talking about this issue prior to ban the ADL.
Yeah.
And then similar to Israel, like once this issue is front and center, all it takes is someone to investigate it and they come to the conclusions we come to. It just has to be front and center. And the ban the ADL thing really just kind of forced that contradiction, because it's like, well, why does this group get to decide what's accepted free speech on the internet? And then, you know, Greenblatt came out and made all these statements and called everyone an anti-Semite, and, you know, people just started to see how this thing functions. But yeah, I mean, I think probably maybe the greater effect, I saw Max Blumenthal was saying this, I don't know, was it today or yesterday actually, that chain of events of ban the ADL is what led to Elon Musk going to Auschwitz. Because if you remember, when he started getting accused of being an anti-Semite during this, and there was all these hit pieces, then he called up Ben Shapiro, right? And Ben Shapiro said, you know, I'll save your face here. And he did this Daily Wire space. They had the rabbis on. It was the digital Sanhedrin, I was calling it, the former president of Israel. That's where they told him he had to go visit Auschwitz. And so that's when he started this strategy that I think is kind of a conscious strategy. And you saw it when I'm retweeting Netanyahu, where he's like, okay.
Elon Musk was retweeting Netanyahu?
Yeah, just recently he retweeted Netanyahu saying, you know, the college protests have to be stopped. I think Elon, during the course of ban the ADL, he realized, you know, Jewish power is a thing. He has to deal with this problem with the ADL. Greenblatt came out and said him and Musk made a deal at the end of all this. And then Elon banned From the River to the Sea off Twitter. So I think he made a conscious deal where he's like, I can align with this faction of Jewry. I can align with Ben Shapiro. I can align with some of these other, like, sort of Zionist Jews, Mike Pence types, Netanyahu, he's gotten very close to. And he's like, that will give me the cover from the anti-Semitism accusations. That's kind of my in to the organized Jewish community to say, hey, you know, I'm your guy, you don't need to worry. And then that'll give me the kind of cover to restore as much free speech as possible. So I think that's what he's trying. You know, I think, obviously some people think that's maybe giving him too much credit. He's just a total shill. He just loves the Jews. That's it. I think that's kind of the resolution he came to, that he thinks this is the best way to handle running Twitter and protect himself.
So if you could send one message to Elon Musk, what would it be, Nick?
Free Nick Fuentes. Give me my fucking Twitter back, man. I'm like dying. I would rather be alive on Twitter and dead in the real world than alive in the real world and banned on Twitter. Like, I live on there. So, I mean, I don't really care besides that. I mean, the thing is, and people pointed this out, Twitter is worse in almost every way than it was before he bought it. Because
Really?
100%.
A lot of spam in the replies, true.
Well, because he promised free speech, we don't have it. People post things like innocuous things. They'll go on Twitter and say, "Oh, I'm noticing," and they'll hide the reply. If you say someone's a faggot, they hide the reply.
If you say Zog for Zionist occupied government, that gets automatically hidden.
They hide the reply. They shadow ban people. I mean, we know it's happened to you. It's happened to Lupus. It's happened to Jake Shields. Well, no, Jake still gets some good engagement. But they deboost people that talk about certain things. So there's still shadow banning. There's still permanent bans. There's still censorship. Except now, the porn is out of control. Everything is pussy in bio. And, you know, but that's not even, that's the worst of it. But still, you go on any tweet and you don't even get relevant replies. Any tweet, and the replies are like a car crash or like some other, you know, a guy getting electrocuted to death or whatever. So it's like, and you can't scrape. Like if you go on Twitter on a browser without an account, you get rate limited after 10 tweets. You can look at like 10 tweets and then they say it won't load anymore for you. So, and they're getting rid of likes, retweets. They're only going to do views now. Have you seen this?
No.
They're getting rid of likes and retweets.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Elon's been saying that for a while.
No more likes and retweets?
What they say.
He wants it to be like a TikTok feed, and you'll just like, you know, flick.
But there's still likes and like reshares on TikTok.
He wants to be like you'll flick left or right on a tweet. I guess more like a Tinder feed, and all you'll see is the views. He wants
Don't
like
do that,
very
Elon.
minimalist.
I know.
Don't
It
do
sucks.
that.
And I'm still banned.
Well, I like the fact that I was unbanned.
Yeah.
I'm happy with Twitter. So
It's better
Great job,
in general,
Elon. Yeah, it is better.
Good things
The
have happened.
pussy in bio needs to go. I mean, we want to ban porn on next.
My
completely.
pussy in bio.
He should have just done. He should have just done the full amnesty, though. That's what I was saying. Like he would have had more cover if he just let everyone back, because
Release the groypers.
he did a vote on it. People voted yes, bring everyone back, and then he just started bringing people back individually. And now, like, if he lets back Nick, it's gonna be like, oh well, Elon Musk approves of Nick, and he has to deal with all the backlash and so on. If he just let everyone back at once, then okay, he's a free speech absolutist. You know, he's kind of made it more difficult for himself doing like the drip of unbans.
It's true.
What's one message that you would send to Donald Trump?
Trump? Well, he's got to lean into the Gaza thing. That's what he's got to do, and he's got to break away from the Israel lobby, because it's all for naught if he's still with the Israel lobby. Every aspect of it, you know, because our problem is that Americans don't control America. So, you know, people could talk about particular things like deport or build a wall or do a tariff on China or things like that, but if you have neocon Jews running the government, it all doesn't matter, because what's going to happen is he's going to leave office. If he wins, he's in office for 4 years. If he doesn't, he's done. So at maximum, he's got 4 years. If he doesn't change this problem or fix this problem, at the end of 4 years, we're going to get right back to the regularly scheduled programming. It'll be as if Trump never happened. So he's got to get Americans in charge.
It seems like he's making the same mistake he made in 2020 while shilling for COVID and the vaccine. It's like he thinks that he should appeal to the boomers, but he should appeal to the youth.
Mm-hmm.
Get the youth on your side, because the youth is all pro-Palestine right now. They're not.
It's kind of helping him that he's banned, actually. I don't know if you agree with that, but like anytime there's some kind of chaos or something going on, it almost helps him that he's not like on one side of the issue on Twitter. He's just kind of there in the background, and he's become more this symbol, you know, because of all the bannings, because of the trials. He's just this symbol of an outsider, you know. Whereas, like, if he was on Twitter and he's tweeting about the Palestine protests,
He might
every
speak
day,
himself into a hole.
Yeah, he has to take his side, and you know which side he's going to take. If he takes a step back, it's a lot better for him, because, you know, all the anger goes towards Biden.
He's like the symbol of the outsider, the symbol of everything against the status quo right now, right? Even though seeing what he's speaking about, he probably is there in a lot of ways. What about one message to Ye? We were speaking about this yesterday. Yeezy porn is a giant lie, right? Like that's not actually real. That was a big sigh of relief. What's one thing that you would say to Ye?
Say, find God. It's time to get back to Jesus. I mean, you know, and I'll always be for him. I love the guy, and I think he's incredible as a human being, but he's lost. He's wrong, you know, and he said it to us. if you're not with Jesus, you're wrong. And he's not with Jesus, he's wrong. I know he hates to hear that. But even when he was with us, he would say things like, well, we need to change the Bible and simplify the Bible. It's like, you're not God. You may be, because I remember even in his song Jesus, he would say, I am a God. I know I'm not the most high, but I'm a close high. Even back then, he recognized he wasn't God. Now he doesn't seem to understand.
Now he says he is God.
Yeah.
I am God.
So that's a big problem. He's got to stop fucking simping, find God, and think about what his mom would like. I mean, I think people forget about that aspect of it. He's not, this is not him. I see him back in the day when he was with his wife and his kids, beaming with pride when North would run in the room, and this was a godly man. What I see now, it's like, makes me want to cry, what has happened to him. It's so sad. And you have to wonder what his mom must think looking down on him. So I think he's got to find his way back home, and that's the church. He's got to come back to Jesus.
So what's the truth about Yeezy porn?
I don't know. I'm not a part of that.
Okay.
I haven't been a part of that in a year.
Okay. So it's a lie. So he's not actually going to start.
I don't know. I'm not.
Didn't he put
involved
out a
with that.
statement saying it was a clothing line?
That was a rumor, but
Okay.
I'm not involved with that. You'd have to ask Daniel Schmidt, I guess.
Okay.
Daniel Schmidt, the true Christian. He's a real man of integrity. So
I don't know who that is.
he's some punk.
Okay. You got beef with everyone, Nick.
I do.
You really do.
That's what I'm here for.
Yesterday we also talked about something interesting. You're not a Catholic yet. I feel like you
Yes.
might yet. I think you're more likely to become a Catholic than a Muslim. But you said you were reading some documents saying that there's a unity that's supposed to occur between the Catholics and the Muslims. What's that about?
That was you.
That was you, yeah.
Nostra Aetate.
Oh, yeah. I was talking about Nostra Aetate, which is this Vatican ecumenical document in 1965. A lot of Catholics find it to be controversial. They started writing it because some Jew came to a cardinal and said, we want the Catholic Church to address the relationship between Catholics and Jews. And they started working through a bunch of drafts. And by the end of it, they included, it was, I think, 5 chapters. And the first 2, or rather the first one's about everybody. The second and third chapter about Hindus and Buddhists, and then Muslims, and the last one's about Jews. And it talks about the relationship between Catholics and every other religion. And what it says is that there are 3 things that human beings have in common. And that's that there's a community of human beings, that we're all human, that we're all created by God, and that we all have to answer the same fundamental questions. Where do we come from? Where are we going? What's the meaning of life? And it recognizes that there are truths in other religions, and it identifies the truths in the Hindu and Buddhist religion. It identifies the things that are true in Islam. And it says what's true in Islam is that Muslims worship one God, and they revere Mary and Jesus. They acknowledge Abraham and the prophets, that they do almsgiving, and there might have been a couple of other things. But it said that we should work towards dialogue and understanding with them, just like we should with everybody. Now, a lot of Catholics are very critical of it, though, because they say that, for example, in the statement on Muslims, it says that Muslims worship one God and our God. But Christians believe that God is the Trinitarian God, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. So they say, well, how is it that Catholics and Muslims worship the same God if our God is Trinitarian and including Jesus, and your God is not and doesn't include Jesus? So there's some controversy like that, and especially controversy about what it says about Jews. It says that not every Jew, living and dead, can be blamed for the crucifixion. And some people take that to mean, well, the Jews that converted to Christianity are, absolved of that blame through baptism, something like that. So there's quite a bit of controversy, but it basically says we should try to understand each other and work together and not kill each other. And I guess I agree with that sentiment. But I'm not indifferentist. I don't believe that, religion doesn't matter. I mean, I'm Catholic. I believe everyone should be Catholic. But, not everyone is. So we have to work on mutual understanding, I suppose.
When are you gonna leave the Hindu poopy cow religion?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not actually a Hindu, but I don't know. I mean, I'm interested in. Nick would hate any of the angles I take on religion, but I'm interested in a kind of heretical Christianity lately.
Yeah.
Kind of, the air hole type stuff.
Yes. Fierce debate.
I'm gonna turn TTS back on, guys. By the way.
All right.
Have you read into Islam at all? What's your opinion on Islam?
No, Islam is probably the religion I've looked least into. I mean, it's there's just something aesthetically about Islam that's very foreign to me. Like I was interested in like the philosophical aspect of Hinduism because it's kind of like the first religion, and Vedanta is like the first kind of non-dual system of philosophy. It's very similar to like Platonism in Europe. But Islam, like I said, it's just something very foreign, whether it's the aesthetics, the practices. I don't know. For me, as a European, there's kind of nothing there that resonates, just on a just in that outward way.
There's no music.
Yeah, I was shocked at that. I didn't even realize.
I told him yesterday for the first time
that
music is haram in Islam. But doesn't it make a lot of sense? Like seeing like how quickly people start talking about I'm God and
Think about this.
Okay.
Roy Fan donated $5. If Nick rips the hard R, I'm gonna bust in my pants right now. Please.
We're doing $5 super chats. Feels like my gay show that I hate.
Bronson,
doing
raise
every day.
it to 20. You get so pissed off at your TTS.
I fucking hate them. Like I'm ready to just like not do super chats anymore.
But don't you see why music is haram? Why it makes sense? Like how quickly? What part do you disagree with that?
Well, traditionally, like the three transcendentals are truth, beauty, goodness. And I feel like music is one of the highest art forms in terms of the expression of beauty. And I do think like in its highest form, it can take you towards transcendence. A lot of people talk about having a sense of a divinity, of the sacred, getting that true art, true music. And I feel like to reject that aspect of the human experience, I don't know, it just seems too profound for it to be just seen as like another kind of materialist distraction from God.
Yeah.
You think it's just like taken away from beauty?
Yeah, I think that
Think about this.
Farid Lukovic donated $20.
it's my show. We're doing my show.
Okay, I'm turning off TTS for now. We'll go back later.
$20. Like, where are we? Is this America First? Like,
We'll go back later.
oh my! I can't get away from my super chatters. No, but I think that Catholics don't believe that the world is evil. Catholics believe that the world is kind of neutral and it can be good. And so, like, it's not even just music, but even things like sculptures. Like, we can create like sculptures of Mary and Jesus, and we can create cathedrals. I know that Muslims have, there's fine architecture in like Iran and other places, but it's all geometric. It doesn't compare, I don't think, to, like he said, the transcendent properties of Catholic architecture, music, sculptures, paintings. All those things elevate the soul and they help us know God, because we say that God is the truth, it's the good, and it's the beautiful. And we see shades of God in the aesthetic sense when we hear Mozart, when we look at a cathedral and it draws our eyes upward towards God. We see sculptures of a human form or a godly form. It ennobles the soul. So you're definitely right that music can be used to do the opposite, because, especially the drums, the jungle drums, and it's all sexual and it's like the lowest chakra. It's all about, and I said on my show recently, everyone says that rap music is degenerate, and I hate to say it, but I love all black music. Even the black music before rap was degenerate. Mm-hmm. Soul, funk, Motown, R&B, it's all steamy, hot. It's all about sex.
Blues was created as like heroin addicts who were just sad and like going through withdrawals, and they'd play the saxophone to match their heroin addiction.
Yeah, and so all that stuff is, some black singers are great, but a lot of that stuff is bringing us down. And, even Plato wrote about that. Plato wrote about how we have to kill the poets and the song makers that are degenerate, because it does captivate people and can lead them to a bad place. But I don't think music is inherently evil. I guess that's
it's not. That's not the Muslim belief specifically, but it can take you away from God. And there's things that you shouldn't focus on. Like I would say to the new Muslims, it's like you shouldn't focus on these things in order to be a perfect Muslim. Like just focus on your prayers and stuff like that, because Muhammad the Prophet, he said that he didn't introduce all these rules immediately when he brought people to Islam, because he knew that they weren't gonna follow it. They should just focus on their prayers ultimately. And there's a lot of people that are coming that are looking for God right now. I've been having this back and forth with this guy Steve Will Do It. He's been looking for He's been looking for answers. Like after a certain level of fame and wealth and money, it's like what is next? You know, you have the pimping, the prostitution, the gambling, and their soul is still void of something. And so I've noticed this. You even see the they them, the faggots on college campuses. They're starting to do a call to prayer. They're prostrating and doing the Muslim prayer because they're looking for some sort of answers. This genocide has woken up a lot of people thinking like, what is going to happen when I die? Mm-hmm. People are starting to question these things. Have you noticed more people, becoming part of this spiritual awakening?
Yeah, I think that religion is kind of the next big thing, because when social media really came to the fore in like 2013, 2014, it was smartphones becoming popular and it was social media becoming popular, elevated the global consciousness. Because for the first, we had internet and email and computers, but it wasn't until you put a mobile phone in everybody's hand with Facebook and Twitter that you really had this extremely hot medium. Everybody talking to everybody else all at the same time instantaneously. Where did people immediately go? Politics, red pills, the Holocaust, the most taboo things, the most profound things. Exactly. And we've gone through this revolution in politics with Trump and Biden, and I think what you're describing, the searching, people are incredibly disoriented and dislocated. Trump gets elected, and we realize the news media lies to us. Education lied to us. The New York Times lied to us. Our parents lied to us. What is truth? What is true? What has authority? What has credibility? And that, to your point, I think that's where people are trying to anchor themselves and find foundation and say, what can I build my house on top of that's solid? Because all of these preconceived notions we have are now a pile of dust. So I think people are getting into religion, occultism. They're getting into weird fanatical cults, pathological things.
Numerology,
like Zerka and that kind of thing. Even some of the self-help stuff. I think even the grind set, the red pill
is
tape,
a religion for people.
It's a form of that, yeah, because people are saying, well, I'm basing my identity and worth on money and hard work and whatever. But I mean, a guy like Steve will do it. I saw what he said to you. He goes, I'm a man of God. I'm like, what was that since 30 seconds ago? Like, since when is this guy a man of God? So I thought that was bullshit. But
there is a more, I have a more material analysis as well. I actually wrote a big essay about this. I've been working on the last few weeks. It's like 7,000 words. KeithWoods.pub, by the way, is
crazy. Buy an ad.
Nice. Anyway, but as far as religiosity goes, because sociologists have been predicting for like as far back as you go, modernity, technology, people will stop believing in God, everyone will become atheist. But if you look at the birth trends now, which everyone is discussing, like birth rate collapse, Elon Musk is talking about this. Like, humanity isn't just going to disappear. We're not all going to stop having kids. There's always subgroups within that have children. And you can actually predict a lot about what people are going to do with their lives, what they'll believe based on their genetics. Like, religion is anything from 40% to 60% heritable, religiosity. So you can extrapolate from that, religious people have kids, an X amount of them might leave the religion, but you can kind of calculate how many will maintain it. And those are the only people that really have above replacement birth rates. Like the fastest growing sect of Christianity in the US right now is traditional Catholicism, like per capita. The Mormons, they could 10x their population in a century just with birth rates. So, like, at the best of times with normal birth rates, if a sect has high birth rates, that's going to increase their numbers. But now there's going to be like a complete collapse. Like there's most countries in Europe, their birth rate is like 1.1, 1.2. It's way below replacement. So there's like this kind of selection mechanism happening where it's like, the woke, the super left wing, they're like getting filtered out of the gene pool. Trans people are castrating themselves. There's a guy, Ed Dutton, that analyzes this stuff, and he broke down like people by ideology. And again, even political ideology, conservatism is partly heritable because it's based on like how high your disgust sensitivity is, how high you are in openness. And he found that like right now, about 5% of the population are like radical leftists, the super woke, BLM, blue hair, these types. By the end of the century, just on birth rates, they'll be like well under 1%. So just from not having children, like those people are leaving the world. And what's replacing themselves. What's coming is Muslims, traditional Catholics, Mormons, Amish. So, you know, in a weird way, we have this like advance in technology, but it's going to be all these traditional sects that are able to maintain the family that make it out the other side of modernity.
Is this a gun, by the way?
Yeah.
You just got a gun hanging out? That's crazy.
Yeah, I gotta protect
What are these?
ourselves.
What's this now?
Those are supplement pills. That's the
Pills?
saber.
Nice.
No, it's just it's just energy pill. That's it.
Okay.
You're looking at my desk. Yeah, no, it's not that.
I was like, is that a gun?
Is
Yeah.
this a gun? What did you think that was?
Well, that's what I thought it was, but I had to kind of look.
Yeah.
No, you're right about that, though. Birth rates.
I asked you this yesterday. Do you think anyone's gonna try to come kill you?
Yeah, eventually.
How long do you think you have?
I don't know. I mean, it depends. I think that's kind of, I try to justify to myself, like, I'm late to my show every day, and like I'm kind of keeping a ceiling on my content, because I feel like if I were operating at 100%, I would just be Hitler 3.0 energy, and they would just straight up try and kill me immediately. So I'm trying to kind of keep it low key until I can do martial arts or defend myself in some way, because, you know, but I don't want to jinx it. I don't like to talk about it because it could.
I know. I think about that.
You gotta knock on wood. I don't want to get
knock on wood. That's like some
superstitious.
Yeah, that's some voodoo shit right there.
Hey, I'm not taking any chances.
Yeah, I think you'll be. Hopefully, you're gonna be okay. I mean, everything is God's plan.
That's true. Yeah. If I live, I live.
And if you die, you die.
If I die, God wills it.
Would be nice not to get murdered.
That would be preferable.
That would suck.
I would prefer not to.
That would suck. Get an armored suit, Nick. He doesn't need that. I'll turn TTS back on. If it gets annoying, we can turn it back off. But what would you say to the guys like the Nelk boys Steve will do with these people that are trying to seek this and realize something, that there's bigger things in this life than just, you know, money and fame?
I don't know. Those guys are all knuckleheads, I feel like. I mean, I've seen their content years ago, and it's, you know, they would do these streams where they would go to these guys who were virgins, and they would get them, we got to get this guy laid. You know, that was the stream. And it's all based on cars and watches and alcohol and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know. It just doesn't seem like there's a lot of thinking going on there. It doesn't seem like a lot of anything going on behind the eyes. But, I mean, and I don't know them personally. I've never talked to them, but we're all going to die. I feel like a lot of these people that are chasing money, even if it's just socializing. For some people, they always have to be with people, always have to be partying, on to the next thing. It's really all a diversion from the fact that we are all dying right now. Like, you could die at any time, and we're all in a way dying. And I think that it's so much of the stimulation is getting away from that feeling at the end of the night when everybody goes home and the lights come on, and you look in the mirror and say, like, I'm getting older. I'm older today than I was yesterday. I'm closer to death today than I was yesterday. Where am I going? You know, what is that going to be like? And so, you know, they say, the Catholics have a phrase for this. We say, memento mori, remember that you will die. Mm-hmm. Every day, remember that you're going to die, because, you know, if you start to get too comfortable, you kind of lose that perspective that this is all temporary. And only when you meditate on the eternal, I think, you get the humility to find religion. Otherwise, it is just a big free-for-all. It is just a big party. I mean, it's about minimizing pain, maximizing pleasure. So that, to me, that's how you get out of hedonism, is to say, I'm mortal. I can bleed. I can die.
And I think we should lend a hand to these people. Like, I see guys like Steve will do it, even though he was pretty disrespectful and he tried to call things out. It's like, I don't really like see these people as like threats. You know, I kind of see that they're just lost people going through life. And also, what's bigger than just the individuals, the audience that they have. Mm-hmm. And that's something that a lot of streamers and other people that I've interacted and had this conversation with, they don't seem to really comprehend that we have a different responsibility because we have large platforms, and because there's 11,000 people listening to us yap right now. Most people do not have the capability to ever do that. So it's like, we are supposed to be holding ourselves to a different standard, right? Like, even though people may sin, it's like, we shouldn't publicize these things because we have an effect on the world. You were speaking about how ban the ADL and having these conversations has really put pressure on a current genocide that's happening right now. If enough people in America are speaking about this issue, then Israel doesn't get support to go kill more children in Gaza. So we should take the responsibility and hold ourselves to a different standard. And that's something like guys like XQC don't seem to realize. It's like that just because we're all the same, just because we're the same as the viewers, doesn't mean that we should be doing the same things. We should, really take accountability for the impact that we have, because more people, especially since
Think about
2013,
this.
we're more influential than politicians.
Love you, Nick.
Oh my. Okay.
He's saying
Thank
love you, Nick. Come on.
Love
He's
you too, man.
he's saying love you. Nick goes, fuck this guy.
Well, I love that it's one of those regular super chatters as well.
Yeah, it's one of
You
those-
recognize these guys
Yeah,
too?
yeah.
And you recognize this
Baron
dude?
Lukovic.
Yeah.
So we got $20 from Lane. Says, Nick, will you still collab with Luke Rudkowski and Clint Russell with We Are the Change? SNEAKO would make a good guest with them too. I don't know who that is.
No, probably not.
Okay. W. Keith, been following since Spencer Dutton days. W. Patriotic Alternative. What's Patriotic Alternative?
It's like British.
Think about this.
group.
Jonathan donated $20.
Look at
Nick,
that.
I was wondering if you could help me with my homework. If it takes 1 hour
Okay.
to cook a batch of cookies and Cookie Monster has 15 ovens.
All right.
Well done.
There
There you go.
Genius.
He said the line. Yeah.
Genius right there.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Flat Earth Pilum. Yeah, are you a flat earther, Keith?
No.
Okay.
Are you?
I think it makes some sense. God is
not.
above, the Earth's here.
What does Islam say about flat Earth?
It doesn't say anything specifically. Like there's a lot of disagreements between the scholars.
Muhammad Hijab, is he a flat earther?
No, he's not.
He's a round earther.
I don't know if he's a globetard, but he doesn't. A lot of them say that it's just not specific in the Quran.
Okay.
It's not specific, and it's not really worth.
Well, I think the Muslims would have taken like the Ptolemaic cosmology.
Mm.
They're all into Aristotle, like the Muslim Golden Age. So I assume they had like a round Earth cosmology. I mean, the flat Earth is really a modern thing. Like people didn't really believe that until the internet, really.
I mean, regardless, it's not that much like we should invest in. Like, it doesn't really make that much
I'm
of a
a
difference.
globehead.
You're a globetard?
I support the globe,
Unfortunate.
yeah.
What about Owen Benjamin? I've been having him on stream quite a bit. He's like very hardcore flat Earth.
Yeah, he thought that I was like a shill for NASA because I believe in the moon landing. He literally thought I was like being paid by NASA. So
Genuinely?
So we had beef for a long time, but
Once
we
again,
squashed it.
okay, good.
Well, but he kind of started it. Okay, I mean
Yeah.
to be fair, I don't want to relitigate that whole thing, but no, but we around Ye 24 we squashed it because we were both working with Ye. But no, he's funny, but I don't agree with him on flat Earth. That's like his thing, though. He's a big flat earther.
He's big on nukes are fake now as well.
Yeah, yes.
What do you think about that, Cynthia?
It makes sense. He makes a good argument for it. Like, why would a human have the power to destroy the whole Earth? Like, believing in nukes is thinking that one individual has the power to wipe out human existence, the same power that God has. So it's like he believes that all these psyops are made to go and keep you away from God, right? If we're around Earth and we're in this sphere forever and space is this endless void, then people are going to think that this is all meaningless and that God doesn't exist, right? If we believe that someone has the power to destroy the whole universe, then somebody is therefore more powerful than God and can wipe us out like this, because God would never do that.
I just feel like those are arguments that don't really get to the material reality of whether the Earth is round. I mean, I understand the point, which is, well, if we think that the Earth isn't special, then we might not be inclined to believe that we're created by God. But that really has no bearing on the physical reality that the Earth may be round and may be flat based on things we can observe. So I guess in that way, I'm kind of, an empiricist, and I feel the same way about nukes. My feeling about Earth is, if the Earth was flat, you would really have to believe in like a global conspiracy. Every government has like agreed to bury the truth about the shape of the world. Like, why would China not say the Earth is flat? Why would Russia? And same thing with nukes. Why would some country not say, well, nukes aren't real? So you would kind of have to believe in like a global conspiracy. Every government is coming to Skull Island to plan out how they're going to deceive everybody about the fundamental nature of reality, which is a little too much for me.
And it gets too schizo at that point, and then
Yeah.
you're just like,
And you just can't prove it. And another thing, a lot of these conspiracies are unfalsifiable. There's so many conspiracies where no matter what happens, that proves that the conspiracy is real. Like people say the US and Russia are actually on the same side. They're both globalist. It's like, okay, well, they're at war with each other. And they say, yeah, because that's what they want you to think. And it's like, so if America and Russia work together, they're in cahoots. If they're at war, well, they're also in cahoots. It's like, so what could possibly happen that would falsify the conspiracy?
You don't think there's ever been global conspiracies like COVID?
Not like that, no.
COVID, pretty much every single government was in on the lie.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe on what level I believe that. I think that things like the mRNA vaccine, you know, some people say that the mRNA vaccine was made to kill people. I don't think it was made to kill people. I think that they rushed it out. I think that they're excited about that technology and they tested it on the human population. But there's some people that are saying, no, like they made it to kill people and they made it to like diminish the population to 500 million. But then you ask an obvious question like, okay, but then the only people that would survive are the people that didn't take it and don't trust the authority. Then they say something like, well, that's because there's a second pandemic and the vaccine contained the, you know, the antidote for the next one. And you get into these like irrational kind of contingent explanations. So
You agree?
Yeah, I believe the Ron Un's theory about COVID. I think it was the US bioweapon that they launched on China. Wuhan is like super connected to like, you know, important ports in China. It's super connected with rail. It was at an important time for China. The US were doing all these kind of ops to step up its kind of trade war against China, and they were doing these ops in Hong Kong where they were fueling these, you know, pro-democracy protests with the, you know, all these funds they have to support these groups that are backed by the CIA. And that's where it started. It started in Wuhan. It started in a city in Iran, which is like the administrative center of Iran, where the you know, a lot of the politicians and important bureaucrats got infected. And I think it just kind of backfired. I think it was definitely manufactured in a lab. It was probably manufactured by the US. It was at the time of some kind of summer games or some kind of Olympics in Wuhan where there was a lot of US Marines stationed there. And I think it backfired. I think the US didn't expect it to have the kind of backlash it did in terms of harming them. And then I think they rushed out a vaccine that, had side effects, but I don't think it was intended for mass depopulation.
And where did it spread after China? Iran.
Yeah.
It went from China to Iran. What are the odds?
What about AFPAC 4? AFPAC 4 is coming. When is AFPAC 4?
June 15th, Detroit, Michigan.
You gonna be there?
Gonna be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you coming?
I will, inshallah. I'll be there.
Let's go. Let's
Inshallah.
fucking go.
Well, that means maybe in Muslim.
Oh, well. You gotta go. It's gonna. All your fans are gonna be there.
Gotta go now,
Yeah, I mean, we have some overlap, but not. Yeah,
Our whole crew is. All the Muslims from Michigan are going there, waving Palestinian flags.
Let's go.
Hezbollah. No Hezbollah flags. That's a joke. State Department. There will be no Hezbollah flags. But our whole team will be there. Jake Shields, Dr. Lupus, Suleiman. You know, the whole crew, the whole anti-Israel Twitter crew.
He's coming too, Suleiman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just met him for the first time the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
Where is he? He's here in Miami?
He's in Miami right now.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, sweet.
yeah. I should have had him on the...
Yeah.
Maybe we could... Actually, maybe we'll hit him up. We can get dinner or
He
something
hits me
like
up.
that.
He's like, "What's up, G?" That's what he always says.
Yeah. That's the Tate lingo that
that's cock.
went over. Keith, what do you have coming up?
Not a lot. I'm heading back to Ireland soon enough, so I got a couple of days left in the US, and then I'll be right back for AFPAC in a month's time. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, looking forward to meeting the whole Twitter crew. These guys, Jake Shields, Lucas.
Think about this.
Some of them been collabing with them for years.
Abu_is donated $20.
Think about this. What's up?
What about the Antarctic Treaty? The UN flag being a flat map? The fact that you can't go to Antarctica? What about flight patterns? Flat Earth moon landing fake?
Think about this.
Okay, this one he just spammed the N-word, so it's not playing. But yeah, Antarctica. I mean, we don't need to keep going about flat Earth. You just you don't think the Earth is flat, but
Well, I don't know how that proves the Earth is flat because they made a treaty about Antarctica. I mean, it's an unsettled, unpopulated continent. I don't know. I mean, there's definitely something suspicious about Antarctica. I'm willing to believe maybe there's a hollow Earth or it's a convex Earth or something like that. But
okay.
flat Earth and like, well, the flag, but look, the UN flag. It's like the UN flag doesn't prove the shape of the fucking Earth, you know. So, but there's something weird in Antarctica. That's real.
And we got a 5 from Snazzy Canada. Dear SNEAKO, I'm a Muslim grandma. Music can be very spiritual and is an important portion of living a decent whole life, especially in subcontinent. Okay, she got to be a Sufi or
Let's
something.
go.
She got to be Sufi.
W Muslim grandma.
Beyond Reactors, shout out to this lady. Okay. Yeah, you want to get
Think
some
about
food?
this.
Yeah, let's do
Fresh
it.
updates.
Fresh
for
updates,
next
what's up, bro?
$20. On some level, lobotomize all linglings. Anyhow, 200K on the way.
You don't get the joke, but yeah, you miss your boys Fresh and Fit too. Myron's still watching the stream. Maybe we can meet up with him. There's been a lot of internet drama, but I'm curious about like, bro, Nick has got to be specifically like one of the strangest people, and I mean this like in with all respect, but like yesterday we were saying like you don't like the sunlight, like the food you eat is weird. You don't really go out. You're like, I'm uncoordinated. You know, like you said.
Wow, put me on blast.
No, I'm not putting you on blast. But you're not like most people. Like I asked you this last time you were here too. I think it was a year ago since last stream we did in person. Is like what is your day to day like? I'm very like fascinated by like if someone did like a following Nick Fuentes documentary.
You
Like
should do like a Hub's Life.
Oh yeah, that guy. Man, don't even get me started on that. When we went over the Hub's Life thing. Yeah, let's just not even go there. Okay, I'm going there on my next Rumble stream. I'm talking about Hub's Life, and I'm exposing how you stole that from me. I hated Hub's Life first.
what is that?
Hub's Life is that TikToker that says normalize the norm, and
Right,
he
right,
says, I make my fucking coffee, and I go to my gay job, and my dog's gay, and my grass is fake. And
I want to play that. Is that on your Twitter, Keith?
Yeah.
Of course it is. Yeah, it's got 30 million impressions. They
Hubs?
belong to me. Those are my impressions. Hub's Life.
Hubs.
Hubs.life.
I didn't put his name in. If you just
We're going there.
go
It's
to
two
my
B's.
profile and go to media, you'll find it.
Okay. But yeah, you hate this guy. He's like.
I hated him first.
The guy has like 500,000. What is it? 500,000 followers
But
on
you
TikTok?
know that I
Let's
hate
see,
him.
where
You
is it?
know
There
that
you
he's
go.
my nemesis. It's this guy.
This is the opposite of Nick Fuentes' life.
That's
The complete opposite. He got a similar mustache, similar drip.
Nick sleeps from 9 to 5.
Look at him.
That lunch is great.
Yeah.
This is why music is haram.
It's a great song.
But listen to the music. Hold on, I gotta interrupt it. You see why like all the lyrics, especially like white people music, is just like advocating for simping. Every move you take, every
Come on.
step you
White
take.
music is simping.
It is.
Dude,
Black music is Satanism, but white music is. Did you hear the lyric? He just said every.
I know the song.
It's just stalker shit.
You're like
It's
all
some
black
school
music
shooter
is
shit.
about sex.
I know it's all bad. It's all about sex and Satanism. It's working.
Mozart.
What? No, but like white indie music is like it's just like I miss you so much.
Yeah, I agree.
I
There's a
need
lot
you
of,
to
like,
breathe.
pussy worship music, like
Yeah.
Blink 182. If you like Blink 182, you're a faggot. That's like the biggest pussy worship. Pop punk, kill yourself. Well, I don't know. Can we say that on Rumble? Well, don't do that. But you
In
know,
Minecraft.
it's just total like pussy worship, pathetic music. But anyway, so I guess we're doing it about Hub's Life. So I've hated this guy for like a year and a half. Me and Keith are in this group chat, and I follow him on TikTok. I post his TikToks every day, and I'm like shitting on his life and who he is. Keith takes one of the videos, tweets it out, and says, "Oh, this guy's got a horrible life," and gets 30 million impressions on Twitter. And then he pretends like he didn't get it from me.
But like, well, I mean, he kind of looks like you guys.
No.
Chad, doesn't he look like a combination of Keith and Nick Fuentes?
Well, okay, maybe a combination.
If we put them together, I mean, what's to hate about him? He's like, he's doing his workout.
Here's what's to hate, okay? And this is
I
where
don't get the level of hate.
this is where Keith gets it wrong.
Nick takes it too far on this guy.
No.
And he's got his dog.
Hear me out, okay? Everybody said, Keith says, "Oh, well, I hate this guy because, his job is not worthwhile." That's what people are saying. They're saying, he's got this bland life. That's not my problem. My problem is everything about him is fake and unexceptional. Like, for example, his grass, his lawn isn't real. It's fake grass. He has AstroTurf lawn. His dog isn't a real dog.
It's not a real dog?
It's not. No, it's like a fake gay dog. Look at that gay dog. That
That's a
dog
cute
is a
dog.
homosexual. That's like his
I like
wife's
the
dog.
I like the dog.
That's
I
like
like
a
the dog.
woman's dog.
It's a Labradoodle.
You know what the dog's name is? Benny. Benny, like you're a man. Benny with a gay poodle dog.
Name him Spike or something.
Fake dog, fake lawn. He goes, his wife doesn't even cook for him. He makes these factor meals in the microwave. Look at this shit. That's a fake quesadilla.
It's a quesadilla.
Fake quesadilla, fake lawn, fake dog. He works in HR. That's a fake job.
That is
Human
a fake
resource.
job.
Fake job. Then he comes home, his house is gray. He's got the gray interior like everybody has. Fake house. He lives in Dallas in a suburb. Fake fucking city. His wife won't give him a child. I guess she's pregnant now, but she didn't give him a child. She doesn't go in the videos. Fake fucking wife. When he goes out to lunch, you know what he says? He says, I gotta hit my spot. You know what a spot is? Chili's. That's his spot. That's not a spot. Chili's? That's a fake restaurant where you order fake sliders and drink fake beer with your fake faggot friends in a fitted cap. He goes out on Friday and wears Lululemon and like a microfiber shirt, athleisure, when you go out on a Friday to see a movie. Fake fucking clothes.
Do you understand why he's so passionate about this?
Because he has the vaccine stare? I mean, he's kind of got this, like, vapid...
He's fake! He's a fake human being.
How does that affect you personally?
It's upsetting. It's offensive. This is offensive to human beings. This is offensive to people. It's like you said, I'm a real human being. You know, I don't like the sunlight, and I sleep from 9 to 5, and I'm a real guy. This guy's fake. He goes home and, like, puts on Disney Plus while he eats a factor meal and drinks fucking beer. You know what he calls beer? A cold snack.
Oh, no.
I'm going to drink a cold snack.
That's bad.
Faggot. Like... So this guy's just like...
So what's the alternative for white guys? Because I can't, you know, from my point of view, he is like, this is you guys combined. What do white guys do? You know, he's just like going to work. He's not really bothering anyone. He pets his dog, jerks off in the shower, and then goes back to work. Well,
here's what I'm saying. Like, we need to start cultivating like a real life. Like, you know... People should live in a real building made with real materials, made with wood, and there's crown molding inside the rooms, and everything's not gray. Everything has character. The furniture's real. It's made to last. He should care about things like food. Make real food. Have your wife do the grocery shopping and have her cook you real food, not microwave food. And when you go out on a Friday, don't wear athleisure. Wear something nice. Wear nice fitted clothes that you got tailored, that you bought, and it's tasteful. Not this vest I see everywhere. All white guys wear the...
What's wrong with the vest?
The vest with the... Everyone wears that. He got it because everyone has it.
Right, maybe he wants to blend in.
Yeah, and I hate
that.
it.
Looks like a healthy smoothie.
Look at this.
Yummy.
Starting your breakfast with one of
Yummy.
those pretty good every day.
He's zipping up, ready
Look
for
it
the
up.
day, 7 a.m.
Look
Get
it
to
up.
it.
Fake
Productive
shoes.
member of society.
Gay car, white crossover.
A Grand Cherokee? That's an American Jeep.
White, but it's white though. That's a white girl car.
You
You got it in white? Get a black car. What?
Okay.
He only has a 10-minute commute. That's not bad.
10, yeah, that's not bad.
He should walk.
Look at him.
He's taking the elevator. Okay.
Look at him with the Stanley Cup.
Wipes the...
Look at the look in his face.
Yeah, that's what I agree with you on.
Look at
It
him.
is the look.
It's
yeah.
it's a non-look. It's
He's like, it's prey eyes. He's like,
Yeah.
please don't kill me.
please don't.
I hope no one kills me.
The vest looks warm. The shirt fits.
It's horrible.
Well, you don't like the color palette?
I just hate that vest look. Everyone has that. That's horrible.
Okay, he takes lunch. Let's see what he eats. And
Chili's!
What he eats in
Chili's!
this is
Cold
disgusting.
snack!
Yeah, what he eats in this is
Yeah, look
disgusting
at
in
this.
video. He gets fast food like 3 times in this video.
he does eat like shit.
Look at him.
Drinking a beer, a little
That's
Bruce.
sliders.
He does eat like shit in the middle of the day. Like
Yeah.
he must feel exhausted at 2 p.m. He's like a beer and like sliders from Chili's. Okay, he's going home. Okay, well, why does he slide the laptop in like he's inserting it into a vagina?
That's
It's
just like his thing, I guess. I
it's
don't know.
just put it in your backpack.
That's like his craftsmanship. It's like, you know, bringing his
Signature.
laptop to work.
Look at this gay guy.
The dog is like, there's no way you could hate the dog.
I absolutely hate the
He
dog.
patted it right on the anus, though. It seems kind of weird.
I would go Kirsty Gnome on the dog. Look at him, athleisure.
So what's a better lifestyle? Like the American Psycho killing homeless people yuppie in New York lifestyle, or
That'd be
this
preferable. No, but just someone like, you know, for example, I have friends and they're really into like clothes, they're really into coffee. They care, you know, they have like a coffee machine, like one of those cappuccino machines, because they care that the coffee is artisanal, that it's right. They care about their clothes. They drive a stick shift 1974 car, you know, because they care about how the car looks. Their life is colorful. It's real. It's real materials from the earth, made by craftsmen. They walk. They care about the food. This guy, everything in his life is depressing. It's not even that he has a depressing job. Chili's, they charge you $25 for sliders. You could go to any like Mexican restaurant in Texas and get like an authentic burrito for half the price. And it's more inspiring than Chili's fucking bloomin' onion or whatever gimmick they have, you know, endless appetizers. It's revolting. It's offensive to any real human being.
He is very angry though. I mean, like you've been months bashing poor people on your show. That's the thing. Is like he hates poor people. I checked the chat today. He's in the pool at his hotel, and you know what he's ranting about? How much he hates rich people. And so it's like, who's left?
Wait, what's wrong with poor people?
Well, I think that everybody like ennobles the poor. Everyone, you know, you look at rich people as evil and poor people as so great. A lot of poor people are dumb. Like a lot of poor people are poor because they're dumb, and a lot of them are unrefined and simple. And in some ways that's good. I mean, you know, poor people can be good people, but a lot of them have become tasteless and vulgar and crass. You know, they go to these things and they go woohoo. You know, they go to a concert and they go woo. And I just hate that.
Nick donated $20. SNEAKO, if Muslims are permitted to read books, while also avoiding books that glorify drug use and other sins, why couldn't they listen to music while avoiding sinful music?
Yeah, there's level for how bad the music is.
Circumcision? Is it?
There's levels to how bad the music is. But you bring up concerts, for example. I mean, like this goes back to it. Like, where do people listen to music in gatherings? They go to concerts and festivals, like where people all do drugs in a field and it's muddy. And
I'm saying even some more innocent, like an Oliver Anthony concert. You get a bunch of white people wearing flip-flops and cargo shorts, and they got a tattoo on the back of their calf, and they're fucking fat and bald, and they go woohoo. They raise their cheap beer.
That sounds worse than a festival.
I know. I hate. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. You
even
agree.
something because you're talking about drug use. I'm saying you don't even need drugs for it to be offensive. You know, put some real shoes on. Put some socks and shoes on when you leave the house. You know, don't get fat.
Why do you hate rich people?
I just don't. They have this kind of like carefree, like aloofness, and I'm talking about like yuppies, like specific yuppies. You know, but that's a whole other. I haven't developed that doctrine yet.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, Eric.
So where do white people go to? Where do they fit in culturally? Because you don't like the vest white people. You know, like the Oliver Anthony white people, very cringe. They got really mad. I've never got more hate from Rumblers than when I was shitting on Oliver Anthony.
Yeah, same.
Bro, people were so mad at me. Like, on Rumble, like, oh, America! They love this guy. And I'm like, what happened to him? And they started shaking hands with all the Zionists. And it was very clearly just a psyop. But
didn't he turn out to be like a communist as well? Like,
yeah,
he's just
Bernie
a faggot.
Sanders
Like, I mean, I don't know why people leave. He was just whining about being poor. He was just a poor dude. Like, I'm so broke and I'm so poor. So where do white people fit in culturally?
Ferriluco donated $20.
You recognize this guy?
People used to have dignity. Nick knows.
It's true.
Okay, you donate $20 to that. So, country white people cringe. Yuppie white people cringe. What do white people do?
I like old school Catholic, like ethnics from the big cities like New York or Chicago, because they actually brought culture to, and America had culture before that, but to me that is like what defines, like Chicago is the great American city. We have cathedrals, we have great architecture, we have great food, we have like an ethnic identity. And you know, the problem with the South, here's the irony. The South used to have culture. The South used to have the closest thing to an aristocracy in America.
The Confederate flag.
Well, and their plantation estates, they had these beautiful houses, they had a beautiful aristocratic life. And what has happened since Reconstruction and since deindustrialization is now you just have these like completely hollowed out towns of people that really never developed the like liftoff velocity to escape these places. And so now they've almost become a caricature of themselves. This like Walmart, you know, Appalachia, Mountain Dew thing. It's become real, and they see valor in that. They see that their poverty is noble. I don't think there's anything noble about what's going on there now. I mean, even in the country music, they take pride in. The CMA, they have drag queens at the Country Music Awards, and they take pride in the country music is pop music now. We're not talking about who's the one, Glenn something. Glenn, what? He's very famous.
Glenn
he sings
Beck?
Southern Nights. Glenn Campbell.
Okay.
We're not talking about Glenn Campbell. We're talking about now people that are really just kind of unrefined and unsophisticated and producing a lot of like vulgar trash.
All the country music now, it sounds like AI. I can't find the video. Yeah, I know, but if you just like look up country, it's just like white trash and you know.
Just like getting porn results on Twitter, of course.
Yeah, well, yeah.
See, look at this one.
So what white
She's
Catholics?
fat and she has tattoos.
She's very
Like, that's
fat.
gross.
Yeah. It's like a black culture infiltrated white people. So what do you mean, like the mafia, like Italian, Chicago, like the Al Capone type white,
Not
like
even because, I
Goodfellas?
mean, I would say that even Italians were almost like some of the stuff that they brought was kind of tacky. You know, like there's this, you know, we call them grease balls, like Italians that are really Italian. You say, oh, that's some real grease ball shit. And so there, you know, the ethnics need to assimilate a little bit. I would say even like waspy types, even like very liberal waspy types, even a guy like Joe Biden, I guess he's Irish, but to me, he represents, even though I disagree with his politics, he represents a better version of whiteness than the kind of like crass Republicans from the South.
What, the aviators and the
Yeah, and
what
they're
is
like
it?
these Pentecostals where they're doing this charismatic Christianity. They're running around in circles. Like Joe Biden represents a better version of whiteness than whatever that.
He reminds
is.
me. I saw this movie last night. I don't know if you've
Cool
seen
Hand
it.
Luke.
Cool Hand Luke. It's good. He kind of looks like the
Newman.
prison guards from this. It's like I was watching this last night. It's like it must suck to be a modern white guy because you see these old movies and when you guys are really in charge and it's completely like there's no specific white identity in America anymore. Like this used to you get to see guys like when's the last time you even seen a white actor like this?
Yeah.
I can't even remember like Bruce Willis, maybe
Yeah.
in Die Hard, or John Rambo. What's his name?
Sylvester
Sylvester Stallone from Rocky. There's not even like now it's who is it? Timothy Chalamet. Is he Jewish?
I would say Robert Downey Jr. was the last one.
Yeah, Iron Man, and then he died, and then that was a symbol of
And now
that.
they have Black Ironheart, the girl who takes his place.
And
Yeah,
now it's Zendaya that's in charge.
It's
Yeah,
Tom Holland.
look what they're
and-
doing with Tom Holland and Timothy Chalamet. It's like every movie they're like race mixing. They're with Zendaya.
Tom Holland's race mixing. Oh, that's the Spider-Man guy, right? Yeah, and then they're effeminate and stuff like that. The idea like of a white guy in a movie, Paul Newman here could eat 50 eggs in jail. That's over. You know, the white guys need a superhero.
Yes.
You guys need somebody, and I think that's why like guys like you and Zerka are popular because there's none of them in movies whatsoever that's being able to take the lead.
That's why they hate. That's one of the reasons they hate Trump, because Trump is like a white superhero. He represents white excellence. He's a billionaire. He's got his name on a golden skyscraper. Supermodel wife, doesn't take shit from anybody. Aura, goes to a rally, goes to a fight, lights up the room. So and Strickland too. I mean, like a lot of these fighters. I know you got kind of beef with him, but I feel like that's why people gravitate towards the fighters, because the fighters are like kind of the last expression of white power in a way.
I mean, he used to go to like White Power.
Well, yes.
He actually was. Actually, yeah, that's good. I want to bring that up because that's why so many people identify with Sean Strickland. But he's close to the truth. I want to see when he actually gets there. Yeah. Sean Strickland tweeted, "I'm so sick of seeing foreign flags in America. I don't get it. You left your country to come to the USA, and yet you still rep what you fled. The worst is Hispanics born in America flying a Mexican flag. Where is your loyalty? Just go back. Enjoy your foreign flag."
I agree with the sentiment, but
Didn't he tweet something the other day about the protests? That it was allowed when it was BLM, and as soon as it was anti-Israel, it was shut down.
There's no way that was Sean
that was
Strickland.
Dan Bilzerian.
Yeah, that was Dan Bilzerian. He's finally speaking
I think he
about
tweeted something similar though, Strickland. I know
Did he?
I saw Jake Shields. In the
it. Zero
reports.
chance. He's saying therapy's gay. Therapy's gay. Yeah, no, he didn't say that, but Dan Bilzerian did speak about that. He's good friends with Jake Shields and them. I got to meet Dan Bilzerian in Vegas. He's a great guy. I don't want to speak too much about what he believes in because I don't want to like ruin his money. But Dan Bilzerian said it's okay to burn down police stations and loot cities and protest, but if you criticize Israel, you get arrested. Got it. And more people are waking up, but they need Dan Bilzerian could be that guy. He could be like an example of like a white. Where's he holding? No, it's not a gun, but you need guys like that. You need white people to stand up. But Sean Strickland, I mean, he's been very critical of Muslims, and he's been like very pro-Israel and stuff. So it gets lost in the sauce. But there's an avenue for a white guy to take charge again.
You know who's a disappointment is Jackson Hinkle, because he would totally fit that bill because he's like a young, handsome white guy. But he wants to go and cuck for like brown people, and he wants to follow Haas around and sniff that guy's farts and talk to brown people about communism. Like, he would be an example of somebody who could, I think, fight for white people, but he doesn't believe in the white race. He doesn't believe in Jesus. Fundamentally, not even really an American. So,
I mean, what's that emoji in his bio? What is this?
It's an American flag, but
What's
I
this
mean,
That's the Orthodox Church.
that's oh yeah, the Orthodox cross.
Okay.
But he doesn't even really. I mean, I talked to him privately. He admitted he only did it to support Russia, and he's posting shit like this. I mean, what is this like? Is this like when he was kneeling for George Floyd in 2020, but with Palestine? I mean, we don't need shit like that. So I wish people, but that's the problem. The only way that white guys can speak out is if they do so in a way that is kind of pandering to black victims or in a ecumenical way towards other races. And you know, that's why the only kind of white revanchism you're going to get is going to be from the right. You're only going to get it from like a fascist white guy. I hate to say this because I don't want to like, this might hurt his reputation or whatever, but I see that in like John McEntee. You know John McEntee?
No, who's that?
You've definitely seen him on TikTok. He's the Right Stuff dating app.
I don't go on TikTok. Who's this guy?
I'm sure if you look up the Right Stuff dating app, he's
Right
on
Stuff?
TikTok. Yeah. And he does these videos where you'll recognize
You know
him
this
when
guy,
you see
Keith?
him.
No.
You pull it up.
Nothing's coming up.
You probably have to put in his name.
Maybe you look it up on TikTok. Oh, yeah, do that. Right Stuff. You just missed it. Here it is.
This?
That one. Yeah, the verified one. Right there. So I don't know if you could go. Maybe there's. Oh, no, they don't have TikToks posted.
It's a bunch of colored women.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. What can we search? Ask the chat.
A fat lady.
Okay, but I'm talking about the guy that runs it.
John McEntee. Somebody link something.
Yeah, somebody link it
I'll just search it up.
or find it on TikTok.
Keith saw. I was scrolling on Twitter while you were speaking, and then porn came up, like literally, like mid monologue. But John McEntee.
MCENTEE. There you go.
Oh, he's a politician.
Yeah, but you got to look him up on TikTok.
Oh, this guy, yeah.
Yeah, but you've seen his face. Pull up.
I've never
if
seen
you
him
pull him
before.
up on Google Images. No, trust.
I don't know if I'm not logged in
I
on
don't think that's
TikTok.
it. Here, go back. Go on just like Google Images. And you'll see him. Click on his. Yeah, I'm sure
He
you
looks
see
like
the guy.
Jackson Hinkle.
Okay, but well, whatever. But this guy's like 6'3". He was a quarterback. He was in the Trump administration. Trump loves him. He does these TikToks. He's talked about Israel. I was actually a little surprised. He talked a little bit critically about Israel. To me, that is like the picture of white American revanchism. Not some guy that's saying, oh, these poor brown people, oh, I'm like, you know, the cops are kneeling on the Palestinian's neck. Oh, I'm kneeling for George Floyd. Like a white, tall, good-looking Trump supporter who's criticizing Israel a little bit, says that Israel got TikTok banned. Like, this is our guy.
This is your guy. How old is he?
I think he's got to be early 30s.
Okay.
He was 28 when he got in the Trump admin.
Don't be careful not to endorse him too much, then he might lose some credibility. Like they might try to.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying I think that compared to Jackson Hinkle, because they do kind of look similar. You're right. This is where we need to go in that direction rather than this other shit.
Do you have that problem in Ireland as well? Because we were speaking about that the name Mohammed is pretty much taking over Ireland. I don't know if that's a fake statistic, but I heard that Mohammed is the most popular male name in Ireland now.
Just one part of Ireland. It's actually the part I'm from, Galway. But yeah, no, the immigration is getting bad there. We actually do have someone like that speaking up though, because Conor McGregor last year has like totally embraced like savior of Ireland, like warrior mentality. He actually deleted a tweet yesterday or the day before that was basically like a Fed post where he's like, "We are ready to engage. Just give us the word."
Was that recently?
Yeah, just a couple of days ago.
We are ready to engage.
Yeah. You'd have to find the exact word, but it was basically along the lines of, Fed post any minute now. We're gonna go activate. But he was posting stuff around the time of the riots in Dublin last year as well. He was like, burn everything, like liquidate all the properties being used to transport these migrants. Got in a lot of trouble over that. The usual stuff. He had to back down a little bit because I think he suffered some kind of deplatforming, because he's trying to build a business empire as well. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, like we mentioned, Jake Shields. You have a lot of guys come out of the MMA world that, they're just not susceptible to any political correctness. I mean, that's a good thing about like martial arts culture spreading, like young guys getting into it.
Yeah, Zuckerberg too, getting into there. Yeah,
it seems to be an environment for that kind of thing. And also, they can't really be cancelled. Like, Dana White has a total kind of laissez-faire attitude to that stuff. Like, if someone gets to the level of Conor McGregor, like, he's building a business empire, you can cancel his businesses. Cancelling the man, Conor McGregor, is quite difficult at that level.
Kind of impossible. I want to see one of those guys speak about Zionism. Because if they really are allowed to push free speech to its limits, then you would have seen somebody speak about this. But you don't really see it get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Jake Shields has been doing pretty good.
But he's not an active fighter.
He's retired, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. There's obviously a lot more leeway there. But yeah, I mean, who knows what we'll see in the next few years. I'm sure a lot of these guys follow Jake. They see this stuff. Like I said, there's an environment of that within the MMA world. Like, I know guys that run gyms that are in these circles. And like, I think our kind of worldview is just kind of commonplace there now. It's spread with a lot of the kind of red pill stuff as well, the grind set stuff. I think just young guys, they're kind of past political correctness at this point. There's definitely a space for something there.
Oh, here's this guy's TikTok that you were talking about. Okay. And they're saying like other Muslim fighters are speaking about it, but I want to see some.
I can't afford a home.
Oh, I did see this guy.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Groceries are way too expensive. My entire neighborhood is filled with homeless people. Best I can do is ban TikTok.
Yeah, that got a lot of views soon. 19 million.
He did one recently where he said he kind of like throws in a little barb at Israel here and there, and he's gone on interviews and said that the reason they're banning TikTok is because young people are not supporting Israel as much. And he says that everybody's saying, well, TikTok is pushing that. He goes, no, they just don't like Israel anymore. So I look at a guy like this. This is a very important point I'm making. A guy like Jackson Hinkle, like I said, I think that's like a safe version of white masculinity where you're unproblematic to black and brown people. You're unproblematic to the political left. And I think fundamentally that is not real white masculinity. It's got to assert our own racial identity.
It's white saviorism, isn't
yeah.
it? Well, yeah, it's kind of funny as well how you get a guy like Inkle, and it is always like the certain kind of white guy that rises to the top of these, anti-colonial or pro-Palestine movements. It's like even within that kind of meritocracy, like they want the white savior. They love like having the Jackson Hinkle character front and center. But yeah, it is. It's like it is kind of pathetic that that's what you like direct your masculinity towards. It's like he was defending Julius Malema and the white genocide chants. It's like.
In South Africa, yeah, because, the other guys are global capital, hegemonic capital. So, yeah, it's got to come from the right wing.
It's like you can play the tough guy online. Like, he does that a lot. Like, you can go on and, like, call people faggots and act tough or whatever. But it's like, if you're, like, that cooked that you're, like, defending people, like, chanting white genocide, it's just, I don't know. The whole charade just falls apart.
You want a white guy that can't show up to a college protest.
That's right.
Based.
Yeah.
Predictions for the rest of this year before we go. I'm starving. You want to get some food? They're begging for an IRL stream, but it's a terrible idea.
Yeah, no, we're going to get killed.
Yeah, anybody who says it's an IRL stream is just like you're setting us up for failure. So absolutely not. But any predictions for the rest of this year?
No, I think it's going to be unpredictable. I mean, everybody's talking about the election. Will they let Trump win? Is there going to be hijinks? I think it's just like 2020 going to be totally unpredictable. I mean, You remember back in 2020, it was first the pandemic, then George
Think about
Floyd.
this.
Canuck donated $20. Is Nick still open to a blind dating stream?
No, definitely not. I know you guys are begging for it. It's just not.
That's another one of my super chats, by the way.
Oh,
So
you
it's just
recognize these guys?
I get fucking harassed everywhere I go. You see,
Yeah.
but yeah. So just like 2020, it's gonna be all over the place this year. I don't think we can predict it, but probably a war with Hezbollah. I think Israel's gonna go to war with Hezbollah.
How soon?
I don't know. It'll be Rafah, then Hezbollah, if it happens. But it's a test if Biden can restrain them or not.
Keith, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think same thing with the election. Whichever side wins, the other one won't accept it. As far as Israel goes, I mean, it's kind of up in the air right now, but I don't think Israel can win at this point. I mean, even just based off their own numbers, if you just accept the numbers they've given of how many Hamas fighters they've killed, which I think they're probably overcounting, it wouldn't even be a third of what they said the total Hamas fighters was at the start of the war. And with the international pressure and everything else, I don't know how they can wipe out Hamas. I don't know how they can defeat Hamas without just depopulating Gaza. That's not going to happen. So I think it's going to go back to some kind of stalemate like it was before. They'll have some kind of demilitarized zone in North Gaza. But just based on their own promises, it's going to be a failure. So, that would likely be the end of Netanyahu. But yeah, like Nick said, perhaps they'll get a war in with Hezbollah
Think
before
about
that
this.
comes to an end.
Love Speech donated $20. Nick, why is Shapiro avoiding you harder than non-kosher meat?
Dude,
Think
I
about
just
this.
fucking hate super
Rayer
chats.
713 donated $20.
But it's like half your show.
Nick,
I know.
what Bible do you recommend for people to start with?
Really? There's actually a good Bible that Father Mike Schmidt recommends. It's called the
Think
Adventure
about
Bible.
this.
SNEAKO's wife's fourth husband donated $20. Can we get a Christ is King in the chat? W White Power.
Yes, Christ is King. Everybody can spam that in the chat. I appreciate Keith Woods and Nick Fuentes for coming on the stream. I'm really hungry. I know you're hungry too.
Yes.
And yeah, of course, just keep doing good work. You guys are really pushing the movement forward. You're doing a lot of great things. The Muslim community supports what you guys are doing.
Let's go.
100%.
Hey,
We need
love Muslims.
the Christian Hindu Muslim Alliance. 100, maybe not the Hindu.
That's right.
But the Christian Muslim Alliance, 100%. Especially we're getting the youth to come on our side. Everyone spam Christ is King right now. I mean, some Muslims get upset because, like, obviously we don't believe Christ is the King of all kings. But if this upsets the ADL, I think we can keep using the slogan. Thanks a lot for coming on. We'll see you guys soon, and maybe we should be streaming tomorrow. You could follow Nick on cozy.tv/Nick and also Nick Fuentes on Rumble. And you can follow Keith Woods on Twitter. What's your Twitter?
Keith Woods, YT.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you soon. Peace and blessings upon all you. Goodbye.